Okay, so we are live. Father Miller here. Welcome back to the Nerd Father Friday afternoon stretch. First one in 2 weeks. I just got back from Philly last Sunday, and I am heading out west on Tuesday.
It's here for Philly.
Yeah, so I'm heading out for the Nerdotic get-together, so I'm really looking forward to that. I got Justin here with me. Good to see you. We'll be having others. I'm going to put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to join. Like I said, just make sure you got the headphones on. And, yeah. So you said you saw Suicide Squad. So how was it?
It's funny. I want to be like, oh, it was fantastic. And it was. There was parts of that movie that, like, first off, I'll start by saying I wasn't pulled out of the story because of something they put in the movie to make a point. And I don't want to use the woke word. I just want to say they didn't do that. So James Gunn did a great movie. I mean, it felt very his style. I did feel that he was trying really hard to find the right music to put in it, if I'm being like overly critical. And, there were a bunch of scenes in the movie that were like, there was moments where I was like, oh my gosh, like that was great. What a shocking moment. That wasn't ready for that. And whenever I'm not ready for something in a movie, I appreciate that. Like, I know I was the only guy who didn't know this, but when The Matrix in '99 came out, and Neo pops out of his pod after being released from the Matrix, I didn't know what the heck was going on. What is this? And I was like really happy because the movies, shocked me, because I have seen so many movies over my life, because long story short, I have access to thousands of them. But this movie had moments that were really, really shocking and fun. It was very dark, very gory. I mean, it's very on the same level as Deadpool 2 was. So if you saw that, you have an idea of the kind of gore and the kind of, the massacre that kind of happens. But there was only one little bit of the movie that I kind of had a problem with that made me stop and think about it, was Harley Quinn has a big combat scene where she's escaping. Okay, so Jed, you saw the movie?
Oh, I watched it last night. I loved it. So,
yeah, it was great.
Except for that one small part, but it was character building where Harley, did the guy in, I'm not.
Oh, that was great. That was actually, yeah. But the part
that was character building right there,
The part I'm referring to that really what bothered me was it was just basically a technical thing, was where she's leaving and she's shooting everybody up, and I get the gun thing because she's had guns, but
are you talking about the flowers?
Well, no. The part that it's very stupid technical. These things bug me. The fact that she's some kind of ninja now. I mean, she can shoot people fine, but now she's pulling John Wick maneuvers and running up walls. And I'm like, Harley Quinn is not a ninja. She was a psychologist who ended up in Joker's gang. And yeah, she could pull a gun and shoot you, but you can be good at shooting guns. That's a natural thing you can just be good at. But she was doing stuff against a full military group, and I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that one move where she had the spear, she went off the ground, hit the guy in the head, did a spin around, did a kick, and I was like, huh? Like,
yeah. The flowers, I did understand. That was her. Yeah. That was her subconscious coping with the amount of blood that she was subjecting herself to. So it was all, and I think this movie's available in 3D, because when when the thing lets all the stars go, it's like everywhere. There's everywhere.
Dude, that I thought that was pretty. Hey, PJ, what's up, brother?
Hey, PJ.
Not too bad. How's things?
Did you see Suicide Squad?
Nope. I don't watch new stuff.
It's worth it, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna honestly say that it was worth it to watch it. And I gotta say this, and I gotta say this, and I don't agree with Gunn's politics or most of the stuff he says, but him as a movie maker himself, he does some good movies sometimes.
See, the big problem with that as well is I hate Harley Quinn as a character.
Well, no, she wasn't the person that was the main person in the movie.
No, I just hate Harley Quinn.
She wasn't the focus of the movie. It was the whole Suicide Squad, basically.
See, the thing is, never read any Suicide Squad, so the Suicide Squad can sit beside Guardians of the Galaxy as far as I'm concerned. No interest. Never read them.
In a way, that can actually be better, because I did not, and I'm ashamed to admit this, I didn't read DC Comics until I started working at the store and I had access to everything we had. I could just start reading. That was about 4 years ago. So when I go into a DC movie, I have no knowledge. of their back history, except for maybe Batman and Superman. So when I watch this movie, I'm just watching an action movie with colorful characters, and there are scenes in that movie that I'm like, yeah, that's James Gunn. You know, where John Cena and is it Idris Elba that plays?
Yeah, when they were having the contest, I was like, yes.
I was like, that's dark.
I was like, yes.
And when he has to admit at the end, he's like, God, that's cool. You know?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's cool. And
That's
then, yeah, the I'm gonna spoil it because we ain't gonna give away too many spoilers because I know there are
Please
people
don't, because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
that's nothing
so-
shocking that we'll tell you. It's basic stuff that you would find in a movie where you know two
He's like-
testosterone guys have a shootout.
He's like,
basically.
I did tell you, smaller bullets.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. It was a good
Yeah.
callback.
Yeah. So.
All in all, I'd say 8 out of 10, maybe a possible 9. I did see a lot of people like I know.
Yeah, but you did admit to liking The Matrix Part 3.
Oh, I didn't.
So your
like
opinion,
Remember,
might be a little.
I have to. You have to remove. If you want to enjoy things, you have to remove yourself from judging the story and just enjoy what's being filled into your eyeballs. And the third one was a nice ending, although there were a lot of problems with the movie. Although I enjoy it because I have so much fun making fun of it. Like the scene where they storm the bar with the Merovingian. And all I can think of when I see a place that place probably smells horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Because I used to hang around live action role play vampire people because I had a game store all the time. And if you got your arms uncovered, there's BO everywhere. I don't care because they don't. I'm a blanket statement. I don't believe in, but it's true.
All right, everybody, drop your guns and raise your arms.
That'll take the whole room out right there.
Lower your arms and pick up your guns.
Yeah, you don't need to have guns. They'll knock you out the pit order themselves. You
And
know?
history had moments too. When she's got a gun to the Merovingian's head, she's like, "What's it going to be, Merv?" And I'm like, "Oh, I like that. That was good. It was good. A little bit of insult.
It had its moments.
Yeah.
Compared to
It did,
first
and
one,
See the
much
Suicide.
better.
Aye, see the Suicide. I've not even actually listened to any reviews, good or bad, about it at all. It's just something new.
I think
go ahead.
Suicide Squad was just a fun movie to lose yourself in. It's something we don't have nowadays, you know.
Oh, there's moments that make it worth it when you understand what the polka dot man's motivation is for attacking it. Oh my God, it brings the whole thing together.
I was so happy to see him because I had some of the Suicide Squad comics from the 70s and 80s and late 90s. Yeah, I'm a huge comic book person.
But
so
just what he projects so that he can motivate himself to fight is I've stared at the screen like it's just great.
Yeah.
Think Waterboy what was it, Benchwarmers with the mailboxes when the guy was trying to hit the ball. It's basically he superimposes what his pain in his body is becomes the bad guy, and you just see that when he's fighting. It's really good.
Well, I don't.
Gonna show. No, go ahead.
I will confess before the Father that I never really had much connection. I didn't grow up with comics. I mean, I did have some Star Trek comics, but my first exposure to Marvel was a quote. I shared this with Clobberin, and was that quote from Crimson Tide, where they're talking about Mobius versus Kirby Silver Surfer.
Mm-hmm.
That was my introduction to Marvel comics.
Well, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of
Silver
Star
Surfer's
Trek
always
comics,
a good.
Yeah.
I picked up Dead of Honor yesterday. I think it was yesterday or Wednesday. IDW reprinted it. The what?
What was it called? You broke up for a second.
Dead of Honor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But I also just picked this one up the other day.
Haven't read that yet, but it's in my pile.
So I actually came away with about 6 or 7 comics this week. I was kind of surprised by that. The one that I'm starting to read is
Trover Saves the Universe. Oh, that's like a spoof on Sesame Street characters like them.
I don't know. I started reading a little bit of it last night. But the Dead of Honor was a 96-page graphic novel. Ooh. It was really good. I loved it. It looks like it takes place right after Star Trek 4 because what's her name? The dolphin scientist is in it.
Jillian?
Yeah.
So, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, Max, I know we were talking earlier this morning about Vegas. I'm not going to
Yeah.
go to the convention. I don't know if you are.
Nope. I basically have like Wednesday morning. I'm there like Wednesday noon to Friday night, and
Okay.
I'm trying to. It's like I was gonna go to the Neon Museum, but it's like I want to take photographs, and you have to go there during like prearranged times if you want to take photographs other than your phone. So.
I talked to Nick Weiser about doing comic shops and maybe antique malls.
Okay.
I would
So-
do. Yeah, I told him if he like. I was hoping Nick would go and get some video and stuff too, of like when they go to the places, so we could see the stuff too.
You mean the stores or the convention?
Yeah, the antique malls and stuff. And I was talking to Comics and Culture last night. We may have a Thursday night throwdown in Vegas, and I may be.
Ooh.
I won't be there, but I'll be there over.
Now, how's that going to work with the get together happening at the same?
We were talking. I'll be there over StreamYard, but he said he may do it like earlier. So
Okay.
because, so yeah, whatever Comics and Culture decide, and I was like, I'll follow whatever you guys do. So
Okay.
because it was only I think it was only me, Tom, Culture, and Comics last night. So yeah, it was a kickback night, but it was a good night over there. So.
Yeah, I can't stay up for comics stream. It's usually too late for me.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's the reason why I never give you, crap for it, Father. I was like, I know you got to go to sleep and do your fatherly duties. So.
Well, I
Yeah.
usually up at 5:15 every morning.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know. I see you sometimes. I'm like, hey, Father Christopher, how you doing? Like,
It's too early. I'll be
Yeah.
up till 3
Nah,
a.m.
not too bad. I gotta get coffee in before the hours. So I gotta fast an hour before mass. So I gotta get the coffee in before 6 in the morning.
yeah.
We're throwing comic books in there a little bit. When I'm going through books, I had to refill boxes today because we sold a ridiculous amount of books to one guy this week. But then I find these little gems, and I feel like I have to have them.
Spider-Man or
Spider-Girl
Spider-Girl.
holding a gun with the hat, doing the Bruce Willis ho 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 thing. I was like, yeah.
See, I never picked up any comics this week. I picked up
Oh,
two
okay. Did you
Doctor Who
found
books.
Spider-Girl?
Oh, I got a whole run of it. I got a whole run of it now.
Oh, very
I'm
good.
putting on the store for sale.
That's what I
I was
picked
gonna
up.
say
Oh,
I picked up Deadpool. Ooh.
yeah. I just told.
Perfect
Oh,
condition.
we
No
lost.
spine
Oh wait.
damage considering how old it is.
Did I lose you,
PJ,
or-
nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a wee bit bashed and bent, but
Ooh.
Yeah. That's nice, PJ.
yeah.
I sent
Has anybody
Nice.
seen the Dalek one, the Dalek special? The way it's printed,
No.
really, really weird inside.
Oh,
It's
wow.
look at the text.
Yeah.
Let me put you on full screen for that.
If Retro was here, he would like go gaga for that. He said
Good
it would be
Lord,
over
look at
See,
that.
the text is actually all in the outside, so the inside there's large gaps. It's really, really unusual. I'm trying to find one that's got text on both sides.
You know, I've got
Some
a
good
box of
graphics.
I got a box of Doctor Who magazines that I found in a collection we purchased. I'm gonna have to go through and see if it's
How old are they?
pretty old. I mean, I would say at least the 80s, if not maybe a little bit older.
There you go.
what
What is
doctor was in him? What doctor was in him?
Look at the spacing.
Wow.
Okay, let me bring that back up.
Look at the
Oh,
spacing in that.
PJ.
Wow.
Dude.
Now that is a weird one. It's a perfect condition. Can't complain. Some good graphics in it, some good pictures in it, but
Sweet.
just really weird because that's why it's never been bent, because you can actually open it without actually opening it wide, without having any issues getting right into the corner to read it. So that's my reading for next week.
That's a nice. I like when they don't break at the spine. People don't like all the way open.
Yeah.
Yes. So
You know,
that's
I found
perfect for that.
I found a little box. I was talking about this collection. I found these Doctor Who's in. We bought an entire warehouse of. We had an associate who died a couple years ago, and we bought. He had 7 storage units, like full warehouses, because he was a hoarder.
Wow.
It was
I think you were telling me
insane.
about him, weren't you?
Yeah, well, I ended up pulling books. It looked like someone had taken their store stock from the 1980s, and when new product came in, they would just take the store stock, shove it in a box, and put it in storage. Like I found a pile of Wolverine #1s, the limited series, like 20 copies, Like they took them off the shelf and put them in a box. And it was like that with everything in the Doctor Who's. But we found, we're talking about preserving comics when you read them in books.
Yeah.
They had this, those cardboard displays where you pop the top up and it folds and has a little thing. It was a bunch of Mylar foldies, just pieces of plastic that you could lay your book into and then hold it without mucking up the cover while you read it.
Yeah, I have
like
some
that.
of those on some of the books from back in the day.
Yeah, or you can store them with it to protect them, and you can still see the front and the back. But it was, that's that's starting to become a thing. The ink they use in a lot of comics. There was a Silver Surfer Black #5 was a completely black cover, and when I got done reading it, I looked at the back and it had 30 fingerprints on it where the ink had completely come off. So I had imprinted my entire hand on the book like 3 times while I read it, and then took that back to the store and got a different copy. Sold that one for $1.
I could never understand these hoarders. I'd never understand it. Me, Matt, I clear my shelves quite regularly, as you can see.
Well,
Hey, Justin, what was the oldest comic you found in that warehouse?
You'll love this. 3 copies of House of Secrets, the first appearance of the Swamp Thing. I think it was number 63. Yeah. Yeah, we got some Fantastic Four, first appearance of Black Panther, Galactus, Silver Surfer. I mean, my favorite thing was, and I'll pull this down, is we found a apple crate, like a cardboard produce crate that you would. Sorry if I flashed it.
Yeah.
And I put some newspapers up, and in the crate was Amazing. Now this is stacked raw, like you found in a corner of a house. Amazing Spider-Man 61 through 149.
Oh, dude.
Because of all the work I put in, I was allowed to keep this.
Oh,
Had it graded, and then that raw stack that was stacked for over 20. This storage container hadn't been touched for 20 years because the newest comic I found was a 2001 copyright. That was the print date. Everything else was older than that, and this just happened to be in there. And we sold first. Just a little first Punisher there. Came in at an 8.0.
8.0.
That'll be on my shelf forever.
That's not bad. 8.0 is not bad.
Yeah. The deal is when he allows me to keep something, which happens all the time. My boss is very generous. It has to stay in my collection. Right now, I'm waiting for it to be shipped. But right now, in the rigging encapsulation, I've got Star Wars 42, first appearance of Boba Fett, that I think is going to come back in the high 9s. But that container had, I'm going to have to look through those Doctor Who magazines because it was just. If I can find the picture, I'll send it to Chris and he can put it up. But it was crazy.
When I worked at Pulp Culture, like this was a long time, it was 20 years ago. Whenever my boss would buy out these storage places, he goes, "If you see something you want, you can't have everything," because I would go on like that. He's like, "Dude, Jay, can't do it. No, store." Like he's like, "You can pick out a few things and then you can have them, but the rest goes to the store."
Yeah, you got to make money on it.
Yeah, I was like carefully going through things, and then I was like, see something, I was like, that's one of the few things. So yeah, I got a ton of really good comic books, and he goes, "I'll let you have that one because you got sweat dripping off your face." And I was like, I know, I put it over there so it wouldn't get any sweat or anything on the comic. I put it to the side. He's like, "You've been working your butt off. You can have that." Like,
well, see, I passed on Death of Gwen Stacy. I passed on, first appearance of Morbius with that movie coming out. I said, let's sell all of this, and you let me keep this one. Okay.
Oh yeah, dude, you made the perfect choice for that one right there.
Oh yeah, dude, Punisher is the best anti-hero. I mean, it's the greatest.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to find that picture because I deleted it off my phone, but it's on my Instagram, so it's here somewhere.
What, the Doctor Who picture or
the picture of the storage unit? I took a picture of the storage unit.
Oh, okay.
But, another thing we found, because I took all these pictures as I was going, because there's a long story, but I was kind of sticking it to it. It's a long story, but I was kind of sticking it to a guy who kind of deserved to have it stuck to him a little bit. And I was like, "Hey, Sean, check out what I found today." And it was 5 copies of Raphael #1, first appearance of Casey Jones. Oh. I think we sold our 9.6 for $4,000 at the store. It's just crazy.
Oh, I was speaking of that, and speaking of something else, I was looking because why The Last Man, the trailer came out today.
I saw that. I
haven't seen it yet.
Okay, I gotta say this, and I was like looking up, and I was like, I have like 2 or 3 copies of the first issue because I have the full run. It came out from 2002 to 2008. I have the full run. I actually liked it. But I saw that the first issue was 200 and up, and I was like, huh? but if you go and look down, it's all the other ones below. So that's if you get it CG graded, that means it'll even go up higher than that.
So did it start at 1 or did it start at 200?
It started at 200.
Oh, okay. Because Captain America was like that too.
Yeah, and then the other book, issue 2, because issue 2s are rarer than 1s are. On most comic runs, that was like I think $86. I'm not sure, but then the rest of them were like 3 and 4, 5, 6. Because it's a 60 run issue series, so Well,
Justin, I don't know if I told you, but I won a Sergeant Fury auction recently on my comic shop. I got a number 3 and a number 7, I think, in addition to like 6 others. I think I paid $70 for it.
Nice. Yeah, I keep happening across 1 or 2 here, and I put them somewhere, and then I forget where I put them, and then I find them again, and I go, I got to remember to have those, and then I forget where I put them. So it's a lot of.
That's the one. I think I probably have about half of them already.
Yeah.
This picture has been lost. I'm trying to find this picture of this entire unit, and I've checked all 3 of my sources. I'm like, what did I do with this?
Dude, I have so many comic book pictures and memes on my phone. It's nuts. Like,
see, the thing is, I don't have a lot of comic books. I've got only 1 or 2 wee ones, like.
We'll get to work already, man.
Really old ones. But I was laughing because Space Dinosaurs, he says, no comics for me. But I did get a Peter Cushing's Doctor Who and the Daleks and Dalek Invasion of Earth 2150 on Blu-ray. Do you know how bad it is? I've still got it in video. I've still got it in video.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, that's how old I am.
I mean, I already said I'm not into comics so much, but I really this year I'm looking to build my Doctor Who library.
I found it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm still building mine because I don't buy them new. I always go eBay or such like. So I'm basically looking for people who are selling their stuff. I get them nice and cheap. The last time I got 20 Doctor Who DVDs and I got them for 10 Doctor Who DVDs and I got them for under £20.
Oh, yeah. It's like I'm always on like I'm always right on the border. It's like, I want it, but I really want to be a bit shrewd about it. But I want it, but I want to be shrewd.
Yep. That's the same as me. I like to buy and I like to get things cheap, and I'm quite happy with the hunt.
Yeah.
I'm not athletic. I'm not a hunter, but when it comes to comics and TV shows and all that, I like the hunt. The hunt gives me more fun because yes, we could go out and buy it off the shelf, no problem. But it's not the same fun hunting.
No, it isn't. Because you don't feel as good about it.
Yep.
And if you feel bad about it, it's worse.
Wow.
Oh wow!
That looks like my old room.
Now you can't. I don't know if you can blow it up or not, but you can as you go. But you see a lot of Diamond comic boxes off the right. That was mostly like starting lineup figures. But in the way back is the really old stuff because it had the name of the shop before the shop changed its name. So it was like I think it was called Exotic Coin, and it was just imagine a store when the new product came in. You say to your Billy, go pull all the old books off the shelf and shove them in a box. And put one, like bag and board one, and stick it in the back issues. And that's how it was. I was opening up boxes and just finding entire weeks. Like you'd find every issue of a comic for 1 week in a box. And that's how it was. And I'd happen across things like, stuff the store bought. But I kind of think it was his personal collection along with store stuff. That the man was very old. He had a stroke and then he had a heart attack a year later. And, God bless Dave for passed away. He was a really nice guy. He was a business associate for ours. I was actually buying his comics for him. That was the deal. He had a hobby shop and he had all this stuff, but we bought his comics through Diamond and then sold them to him for like 10 cents over cost. And then he would operate his store that way. But yeah, this thing took us a day to get all of that out and move to our storage facility that we had. But it was just, I still have, I'll have to see another picture because I have it. I still have boxes upon boxes of Marvel and DC. I've gone through most of it, and I've got independents like you would not believe. Oh, and the smut. Oh my God, the smut.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Did you get any of the Prime 70s, 60s stuff?
Yeah, get them just in case.
A little bit. But I mean, I've got all
mute
boxed
your
up.
headphones, father.
I've got it all.
It's my stream. We're not talking porn on the stream.
No, it's just I just said smut. It's just girly stuff. But I put it all in boxes and I wrote smut and I just left it in the corner.
Yeah.
Then you doused it with gas and set it on fire, right?
Yeah, but it's inside a building right now.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. We'll just tell-
the starting lineups, Justin, you can sell some of those for some pretty penny.
yeah, you can get 2 pennies,
Starting
probably a
lineups,
piece.
years. I'll tell you what, I laugh.
Penny.
They are so terrible. They look like cake toppers and not good cake toppers.
Well, did some of them melt? Because I know out here, if some of these storage places don't have air conditioning.
Oh no,
some
this
of
is
them-
Iowa. It doesn't get quite that hot.
Okay, some
I mean,
of
they'll
these
yeah.
places don't have air conditioning, and when you go into the storage, you see people go, "Well, we had starting lineups," and I was like, "Those aren't what we're after." Like,
Well,
Only if
we've
you
got
have, like-
cases of them. We got cases.
Yeah,
We
only
got
if you
steel
have, like,
cases.
Pete Rose or King Griffey Jr. or
Yeah.
somebody like that, like they're
Well,
worth.
that was the thing about starting lineups is they didn't actually
Yeah.
have their picture on the card. It was a generic card of a player, and
Yeah.
then they would put the figure in there that didn't. They had like 3 molds for the same. I got a Randy Johnson and a Peyton Manning because I like Randy Johnson, and Peyton Manning. They're
Yeah.
high up on the shelf, and I just keep them there for giggles. And but the rest of them, we don't have any Jordans obviously because the Jordan fans have to have those when they find them. But the rest of them are just make a really big birthday cake and just stick them all over there.
I know.
Well, the one that I have dug it out in a while, is I don't know if you remember the baseball cards that came in bread bags.
Oh yeah,
little
yeah.
circle cards?
We get those. They come through all the time. And
Are they
bottom
worth
boxes.
anything?
Depends on the player, like anything else, Chris. If it's if it's a bunch of people nobody knows, no. If it's Ken Griffey Jr. or whoever, then it's
I think it'd be from like 1981. These cards.
Well, I follow Jim's rule in the sports arena. If it's 80s and 90s, unless it's like the biggest card you can get, nobody wants it. It is you could build a
Yeah.
house out of the stock cards
Yeah,
that came out of 80 and 90. It was just terrible.
Yeah, nobody
So-
wants it unless it's like 80s, 90s stuff.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it'd have to be rookie cards because that's the only thing that has any value to anybody. I mean, even like I would say the only player out of those areas that we care about at all that's not a rookie card would be a Michael Jordan insert. Not even base cards. Forget about it. Burn them. It's not worth your time
Yeah.
unless you're looking to fill up a landfill. That's
Huh.
Put 'em with
It's
ET
just like
understood
ET. Yeah.
yeah. Put them with ET
Being a
games.
non-American, I have no idea what you're talking about with all these cards. None at all.
PJ.
Well, you have bread over there, right?
We have what?
Yeah,
Bread.
bread. Is it sliced? You guys have that sliced bread?
No, so we accordingly beer is basically liquid bread, so we use that.
Oh yeah. Yeast in any form.
I don't
is
think
agreeable.
baseball cards and beer would be good.
What are you talking about? That's how the sport was built. That's baseball
I
cards and
think
beer.
if you have enough beer, anything's good.
Well, I will
Beer.
say the funny
Good.
thing is,
Unless you suffer
one
from
of the
heartache,
antiques-
we don't get drink beer anymore.
well, one of the antique stores I came across, I think when I was home, was they were selling packs of 1987 tops for $2. I'm thinking that's too much.
It's
Oh,
a fun
yeah.
factor. It's a
If
fun
you're-
factor.
If you're,
Cracking
it's
packs.
it's the nostalgia.
I sort of lied a bit. We do have cards.
Ah,
Hey!
ah,
A big pile of Doctor Who
A
ones.
theme
Yep.
here, PJ.
Yes, very themed. I don't know where these all come from.
You'll be happy to know that I binge watched Doctor Who season 1, and I'm a few episodes into season 2, and I understand.
Are you saying season 1 or series 1? There is
What?
two differences.
Classic or new? Classic
So
or new?
I finished
New.
the Eccleston episode.
So season 1, you're talking about season. If it's a classic, it's series because in the UK we
Yeah.
used to say series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm
Yeah.
into so I finished the Eccleston episodes. Now I'm into the second Doctor, Mr.
Skip,
David Tennant.
Skip, Love and
Tennant.
Monsters, and
Tennant.
Terror. Skip those two.
Okay. I did skip a couple of the first season because I was like, I need to see how this ends. And then I started with the Dalek episode because I knew that Daleks were the stuff and I knew they were the big baddies. And that was great. And then when they proceeded to keep going with that and they brought them back, I was like, wow, this is really good stuff. Of course, the CG from someone who hasn't watched it is going back and watching something 15 years ago. Or no, it's like, what, 7 years
Well,
ago?
try going back to Tom Baker in the 70s.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
I mean,
You,
I
you
still
need to
love
watch
it, though.
you need to watch the 3rd and 4th Doctor, Justin.
Yeah.
I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. I'm going to watch it all because I don't want
Like,
to be. I want to be in the know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Videos-
you
Oh,
really
VHS.
you really do have to watch Pertwee. Pertwee
Hurley and
Baker.
Tom are my two favorites.
Yeah.
Tom's Pertwee's my first Doctor, but Tom's my favorite Doctor.
Yeah.
You know, I
I
don't
like
have a picture.
Sylvester's outfit.
I don't have a picture of this, but I went to the Cedar Rapids a Comic-Con a couple years ago, Chris, and there was a guy there who is, I am not joking, he is the clone spitting image of David Tennant.
Wow.
Little thinner, but he is, I looked at him and went, and then my buddy Scott, who's with me, he's a huge Whovian. He grew up with it his whole life, and he was the one who tried to get back into it, and I just stopped watching. But this guy looks just like David Tennant. It is actually creepy. And he goes to all the shows. He dresses the way he's supposed to dress. It's just, yeah. Gets all the Whovian girls, you know.
I mean,
He's like-
I've seen, you know, I remember, I think it was after the Undiscovered Country, Nimoy and Shatner went on tour, you know, doing their show, and I saw that. So I've seen Shatner and Nimoy, but I really want to. It's like Tom Baker is on my bucket list.
Oh, there you go.
You know,
Ewan
So-
McGregor's on mine, but you can kind of get that from everything behind me.
well,
Yeah.
The only one I've met a few of them, but the only nearest I got to Nimoy was a lookalike sort of. I'm trying to find the picture of him, but it was at a Comic-Con in Scotland, so you can imagine how super duper it was.
You know, on the subject of meeting Nimoy in the fandom, because I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I still love the movies and the show. And you know, did anybody here ever watch The Big Bang Theory when they when the girl Penny gave Sheldon the napkin
Saw that the
with
other
Yes.
day.
Leonard Nimoy's DNA on
Oh,
it?
that one. Yeah.
That I'm absolutely serious. That was the best acting I'd ever seen because I understood every emotion he went through as pulling that out, looking at it, realizing what it was. I was like, this is great writing because I've seen kids act like this. You know, when they meet someone, they start freaking out. But just the idea he could throw his own Leonard Nimoy.
I think I stopped watching Big Bang after season 5 because it just kind of got away from the awkwardness.
They weren't nerdy anymore. They were cool.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, they went from geek to like cool, and I was like, no, you need to keep them geeky and nerdy and
Yeah.
stuff. Man.
Awkward, not getting
Yeah.
women.
Yeah,
hot
like,
girlfriends and yeah.
yeah, you got one dude got Penny banging Penny on a constant basis, and then you had the other one got her.
Bernadette. There was Bernadette.
And everybody became cool. They weren't
Well,
the guys that couldn't get women.
Don't forget about Amy Farrah Fowler. That was the most believable character in the show. I think she actually is a physicist.
Yeah,
she's
is.
a neuroscientist, I think.
Blossom.
Yeah.
Awesome, yes.
Mia Bialik.
Yeah, Mia Bialik.
I'm going to share this. This is the guy. It was doing the UK or the Scottish, especially Comic-Cons as Spock.
Ooh.
Wow.
He was
Wow.
6 foot. He was 6'4".
He's even got the hand for it, man. Those are long fingers.
Oh, dude, that's
Yeah.
a good
Wow.
Spock.
That's a
Yeah,
great
he
spot.
was overly tall, but he was literally 6'4". He was towering over everybody.
He almost needs a sandwich. He's a little thin in that too.
He
Guys,
was
say,
very
thank
tall.
you to Jace for subbing.
You know-
if you're not sub, please go ahead and sub. I'm getting closer to 1,000.
You know,
Yay.
Shatner could not do the Vulcan hand sign on his own. Like he had
Well,
to.
the one that did T'Pol did that as well in the movie. Oh no, was it not the movie? Was it the movie? She had to get it all strapped up so she could do it.
Yeah, no, Shatner couldn't do. It's like if you watch like Star Trek 2, when he puts his hand up on the glass, he doesn't actually like fully do it.
He uses the glass to kind of move his hand.
Yeah.
doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He torques his hand a little, but it's like,
Yeah. Well, see, years before this happened, I had a nerve pinch there, and I used to get slagged by the doctor because every time I went in, my hand used to go like that, but naturally, and he used to constantly slag me, and that was that hand before this happened. It doesn't, they don't move now, but literally, I always had a gap right there in this hand, so I always used to get slagged by the doctor, who was another nerd. He would say, "What's wrong now?" And I would do that, and he would say, "Live long and prosper." I said, "Really? Again? Every time I visited."
Hey, PJ, my cardiologist until she moved away was Doctor Who, and I'm not kidding.
Huh.
Now her name was actually pronounced Hua, but it was Hu. She was from a Asian background, but everybody just called her. She was called Doctor Who. So I'd hear her talk in the hallway before she come in the room. I go. She didn't get it. She had no idea what I was doing. Which is really a shame. She should have known all of that, and like she should have wore the outfit when she came into the room. I don't know what the deal was.
See, that would have been fun. I must admit, just
missed opportunity.
Yep. But
So I'm just trying to think. So going back, I guess I'm getting in on Tuesday because it was about $100 cheaper to come in a day early. And then
Vegas?
I'm leaving Saturday morning. One of the things I was going to try to do, I don't know if you've done it, is the $20 trick.
The what?
Where when you're checking in, you give a $20 tip, and hopefully they give you an upgrade.
Oh.
I don't know if it works or
That
not.
sounds like something they told people so that people would start tipping them 20s.
Yeah. Father.
Oh yeah, totally.
No, I mean,
I got a
I was
similar
reading a lot
one.
of reviews on it.
I got a similar tip when we were going to Vegas. It was for my wife's birthday, and I was told, order something on the flight, so they've got it ready, like a bottle of prosecco or something. And because it's her birthday, they'll upgrade her. So I did. The lassie forgot to deliver it out. We got it as we were leaving the plane. Thank you very much. That really helped.
It's a hit. It sounds like a hit or miss. You know.
Well,
it really does.
I got a good room from what I understand. I mean, I paid to get a strip view.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that: view of the strip, the Las Vegas Strip, not
Father,
that.
I would so say proud of you, Father.
I would say Las Vegas Strip view rather than a strip view.
No,
He's got
we're not
like
doing
Tanja
that.
Falls in
They
it.
just start coming to my head.
We're not doing that.
Even in my head, even in my head, I can see myself going, "Don't see it, don't see it." Don't see it.
Well, as I
You're-
told
you're
the rabbi,
you know what Gary would say. Gary Az and them would crack up if he would have said that.
well, like I said, I'm really looking forward to meeting them. I'm just
Yeah.
hoping it's going to be one where you can actually have conversations and not where it's like a few hundred people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh,
I
no,
haven't
no.
heard anything.
He's gonna make time for you. Like
Oh,
to be
definitely.
honest,
Oh, yeah.
yes. Yeah, he's gonna make time for you. Don't
Just
worry
pull that
about
card. Just wear the
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
Well,
No, dude,
I'm
don't
not
wear
wearing
the
my
collar
cards
in
because-
Vegas. No, no.
well,
Did
no,
you
it's
say-
more like
did
it's
you
going to
see
be
my-
106.
Did you see my
Yeah.
new Scottish Ghostbusters shirt?
Let
Ah,
me see.
Spooky bitch.
Spooky.
Yes, spooky
Well,
bitch.
that is Jack and Victor from Still Game. It's a Scottish thing, mate, and it's one of the other characters was Isa, and she
Mhm.
used to actually be able to figure things out. She was a nosy. Isa was nosy, and she always used to figure things out. So they used to call her a spooky bitch. So as
Yeah.
soon as
Yeah,
Ghostbusters came out, the T-shirt came out. Back half, you spooky bitch, and they're dressed up as Ghostbusters. That's
well,
Jack.
I
and
love the
Victor.
fact that you had Holly as your profile pic.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was like, I saw that.
It was
He
the
had
head.
Holly.
It was the head, but I changed it back. It was the head. It was before my Wednesday Red Dwarf stream. So
We got let down at the Ghostbusters. There's a Ghostbusters group here. I think they have a car that's license plate is Ecto, Iowa. And God bless them for, putting on the costumes and putting on a show and stuff. But I went down to the end of the mall where the show was to see the car. I'm like, oh, here we go. There's an Ecto 1 in this area. And it was the old Chevy Caprice that they used like in the cop cars. It's one of the ugliest cars in the world. But they converted it.
Or like a
It's like,
Caprice
oh,
wagon.
man, that's not a good car.
To answer
Yeah.
David, I'm probably not going to wear the collar, mostly because being in a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
The
can
manager
get
will
it.
ask you to leave. Look, you're upsetting everybody that's
No,
here having a good time.
no.
Just get it.
Well, first of all, I'm a fat guy, and it's going to be like 110. So
Yeah.
wearing all black in the Las
You're
Vegas
gonna-
sun,
you're gonna
even if
look
it's a
like-
dry heat.
You're gonna look like Peter Griffin.
Yeah, but no, I'm gonna dress comfortable for this thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna be out in the desert, Father Christopher. Dress comfortable. Like I'm always in shorts and a t-shirt, so.
Thank God they got that Colorado dam there to power all the air conditioners in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, they got nice.
Well, in Scotland, it's shirts and t-shirt weather if it's not snowing outside.
I'm in shirts and t-shirt even in the winter out here.
Everything with more than 4 legs dies in Iowa when it's cold, and that's my favorite time.
Oh.
All the little bugs, they all die.
Oh, those things do die, but
all the bugs are out right now.
More than 4 legs die. So
yeah, we had a lot of cats on the farm. They survived the winters.
Did you say lava cats?
Lots of cats.
Oh,
lots of cats.
Lots of cats.
That says lava cats.
No.
They're the opposite from a cat in a hot tin roof.
Well, the one movie coming out next week, I was thinking I'm probably going to wait till I get home is watch Free Guy.
Oh, that's going to be
Ryan
so
Reynolds'
good.
new movie.
That's going to be so good.
Free Guy is going to be good. I honestly think it's going to be really good. So,
I mean, he's starting to fall into this rut where he kind of sounds like Deadpool all the time.
Typecast.
But it's still Ryan Reynolds, and he's still brilliant, and he deserves. He does great things. His wife does great things. I mean, I think that's the kind of celebrity you want to pay attention to, as opposed to some of the other ones. I know that the work that his wife is doing, helping children and rescuing people, I think the same kind of stuff that Ashton Kutcher is doing with his foundation, which is saving human trafficking and exposing the people that need to be exposed. But yeah, him as an actor is just so much fun to watch.
Well, unfortunately, I subscribed to the new Deadpool comic that came out this week, and after reading it, I unsubscribed.
Was it the Black, White, and Blood?
Yeah.
It was that bad?
Really?
I just couldn't get into it. I mean, I subscribed to Deadpool like 5 years ago before they did the first reboot.
Oh, you know what? You read the Daniel Way series.
I have the whole run. I have the whole run of Spider-Man. The what?
You have the Daniel Way series, the when he wrote Deadpool, right?
I think about from the 280 to 300 something.
What numbering system was that?
Well, whenever they right before they rebooted it after the second movie came out.
Oh, they did the legacy numbering. So you got into the one. Yeah. If you want to read real Deadpool, like the best Deadpool.
No, I have on the Marvel app. I read it on the Marvel app.
Yeah, Daniel Way's run on Deadpool was awesome. And that was the run that led into Deadpool's schizophrenia, where he had the two different voices that were constantly thought bubbling, talking to him. And they made a video game of that, which is phenomenal. And you can find all the cutscenes, but they patterned him after that comic.
And you can't get that video game anymore either. It's not in production, and it's.
Well, they had it digitally for a while. Is it available?
Yeah, I have it on my 360 hard drive, but yeah, you can't get it anymore because there was like licensing issue, just like the Spider-Man game and the X-Men game.
Yeah, well, you can find all the cutscenes on YouTube if you're really curious about it. But like the game had things in it, like you could sit on, like, the Crash is the Blackbird. The X-Men are all unconscious except for Deadpool, which is weird because Wolverine could have not been conscious. He's sitting on top of Wolverine, and you interact by slapping Wolverine across the face multiple times. I'm talking, you could sit there for 5 minutes and every time he slaps him, he says something more creative. This is because I like slapping you. This is because you don't hold me anymore. It's that kind of funny stuff. But yeah, off subject. That was the best run, in my opinion. That got me back into comics because I went and I read the 3-issue series where he's trying to kill himself. He wants to go be with death, which was his big motivation in that comic. So he goes and he picks a fight with the Hulk. And it ends, spoiler alert, it ends with the Hulk's like, you're sick, and yeah, I get it now. And he just slaps him into a mist. And just everywhere it's red mist. And it cut to like 3 weeks later, there's a hospital bed with this pile in it, and it's Deadpool regenerating. Because I guess Captain America and a couple of people collected all the little bits of him and just put it in a pile and said, we got to talk this guy. That's so stupid, but it's so great.
So, yeah, no, like I said, I know I brought my Spider-Man Deadpool #1 into you, and it's part of the reason I probably won't go back to Mile High Comics, because what was supposed to be a Nerd Mint, you said it was like a 9.6.
Oh, well, it's very subjective. It really is. And honestly, I'm to the point now where I'm scared to send certain books in. Like I'm still right now, I'm chewing my fingernails off because I'm supposed to be getting back. I sent in a Thor #1, which was the Jane Foster Thor series, and the cover was done by a famous artist named Stanley Artgerm Lau. And then I had that signed by him. I had it signed by Matthew Wilson, Matthew Wilson was the colorist, Jason Aaron who wrote it. And then Russell Dodderman, I think, was the artist on that. So I had 4 signatures. It's being verified. If it doesn't come back a 9.8, it's going to break my heart because I mostly grade comics. I don't really grade comics to make a bunch of money. I grade comics so that when I'm gone, my kids can benefit from what I have done without being ripped off by some shady comic guy. So, yeah, I'll sell your collection. I'll get you a whole bunch of money. Grading is an
$50 for it.
Grading is an absolute. If I hold up, you can go online. You can type in this book and 9.8 or 8.0, and it will tell you exactly what it's worth without any question whatsoever. So you can make that. That's primarily, plus the preserving, but that's primarily why I grade comic books. But yeah, you'll be happy to know, Chris, I got your Something is Killing the Children in. I had the next day edit because I completely forgot about that signing, and I was like, oh no. And I emailed him, and I was like, can I get this in? He's like, next day, Eric, to this address. If we get it by Tuesday, you're good to go. And I'm like, great. So off they went. And I almost Father Miller wanted me to do a comic book, and I was like, those 2 people are doing a signing. You can get it signed by the writer and the artist, and then I almost didn't get his book in. So,
and that's the one that's on for $300 for the first issue right now.
That book's almost $2,000.
Ungraded?
Ungraded maybe 5. But your book, after being signed, as long as it comes back in the high 9s, by the time that show hits, you're going to be looking at something in that particular market. Granted, the hype train run amok, and when Captain Marvel came out, I sold my Avenging Spider-Man for $650, which was ridiculous because it was just the first appearance of her costume that she uses in the movie. Now you can buy that book for $125. But that kind of book. The thing is, with Something is Killing the Children, which, by the way, I highly recommend. James Tynion, whose name is actually Tynan because they changed it when they came to America. His writing style, he writes so many different things. I mean, he's writing Something is Killing the Children, which is a story about a monster that only children can see and a certain group of people who have been indoctrinated into this group. It's a fantastic story. Cult, but they're warriors that fight monsters, and I'm sure there's more to it. But every time they put out an issue now, they're expanding the cast in such a way that it's not a bunch of red shirts. It's a bunch of people that actually have depth and they have something going. Like I just read the last issue where they take her as a child, it's her origin story, to a farm, and she confronts the monster. Well, there's the guy who runs the farm. Oh, he's going to be in the show. I guarantee it, because he's a deep character who has some kind of foundation.
Know that I just pre-ordered the new series that's coming out. I can't remember what it is.
House of Slaughter.
Yeah, the House of Slaughter.
Yep.
So I might have to pick up an extra copy of that too.
That's I actually just had a customer order. I told him I'd sell them. Okay, so this is how I make my life work. I told him I would sell him 100 of the books. He's buying 100 copies at a special. I'm giving a very special price, a very, very low price. And that's allowing me to get my numbers to 200 so that I can get the foil Virgin instead of so
nice.
But that book is definitely going to be hot. When that series hits Netflix, it's going to be one of those shows that I think is going to have staying power because they have a long way to go with it. Like they can keep going. It's supernatural. It's got a great cast. They can constantly.
I'm just surprised. I'm just dumbfounded. I mean, I paid $4 for the comic when it came out, and I only got it because the comic guy recommended it.
Yeah, I had mine. My first one was signed. I sold it way early, which I never should have done. But I got a whole $300 for it. Ooh. Now it's like a $1,500 book. But Something is Killing the Children is one thing he's writing. The other one he's writing is a horror story from DC called A Nice House on the Lake, which that's a phenomenal book as well. You got that one there?
Yeah.
Yep, Nice House on the Lake. A story about a man who brings a couple friends from high school, college, and his work to his house on the lake to visit, and he insists that they be there. They all decide to go there. And then halfway through the first issue, a girl pulls out her phone, looks at Twitter, and realizes the entire world is burning. It's the apocalypse. People are melting. And it's just, talk about a left turn. I was not expecting that at all. So he's writing that. He's writing now, I believe, I believe he's also writing Wind from Boom Studios.
I don't know that.
It's different. I mean, I believe he leads a different lifestyle. So this character in the book also leads a different lifestyle, and it's more of a cartoony looking book. It's not more traditional comic art. It looks more like a children's type story, but it's an adventure and it's got great characters. Other than that, he's writing. This is an intellectual book. I have a hard time getting through it. It takes all night. Department of Truth, which is another incredible.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's the concept that in our world, if enough people believe something, it starts to become real. And there's a great joke made in like the third or fourth issue where the group in the pit of scientists are like, you wouldn't believe how many times we had to kill Santa Claus. I'm like, oh no, because people believe it, so it becomes a real thing. And it starts with a story about flat earthers. Like enough people believing the Earth is flat that there starts to develop this wall in the Arctic. Like they talk about that there's just a wall of ice around the entire area. And they got we got to squash this right now. So they I guess they kill everybody to stop the belief. But God, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and he's writing Batman. So this man is all over the board. So if you're looking to read comics, I recommend anything James is writing. It's just good.
Well, the other one that I'm getting is the Ice Cream Man.
That one I haven't read, but it seems it's like he's a monster murderer thing, right?
It's a messed up one. They just finished the Clown series. Ha ha.
Yep, another dark one.
Like a 6, and I liked it.
Father, can I recommend My Little Pony or something a little cheerier that you can?
Oh, My Little Pony Transformers.
Oh, this dark.
No.
Something
My
happy.
Little Pony enters the dungeon.
Yeah, okay, right.
Well,
There is a My Little Pony Transformers crossover. I mean, that was hitting Soundwave in the face with a pie.
So this is the other one I just got.
Yes, I missed that. I have to order another copy because I kind of skipped it. Scotty Young is a great artist. He's written he's wrote a book called Middle West, which was pretty good.
I gotta
Geiger's good.
say, the artwork in this has been amazing.
Yeah. Jeff Johns' book, Geiger.
But
Yeah.
this is my kid's book.
I can't read the title. Oh, the
That's the Trover.
The
Even though there's a F-bomb in the first page.
And that is something I have a problem with because, back in the old days when a hero or a villain would drop an expletive, it was like, oh, they really mean what they're saying. It's an accent. But now you read through a standard like X-Men comic, and it's like it's part of the conversation. Like every other word has been, asterisked out. And I'm like,
no, I don't.
That's their writing.
I don't. I think the last I was subscribing to Fantastic Four after they brought it back. So I had the first 24 of them. I just canceled my subscription because it just wasn't as good.
So did you read The Wedding of Doom?
What number would that been?
It's the most recent issues. Doom
No.
decides he wants to get married.
No.
That was you got to imagine Dr. Doom goes through an entire issue where he wants Reed Richards to be his best man because no man on the planet could possibly come close to being the best man except for Reed Richards. And I'm not a huge FF fan, but I get the whole.
Now that it's going to be in the mood to watch Venture Brothers again.
Well, the biggest part of this thing is the wedding's happening. He's on stage, and what he doesn't know is that Johnny Storm has had relations with his future bride. So because she's so dedicated to Latveria and Dr. Doom, she decides to confess this on the pulpit.
Wait. Is it Crystal?
It's his warrior goddess princess lady who is, I am a soldier of Latveria. I have loved my people and I will serve my king, blah, blah, blah. She's very, very pro-state. But this moment, she's like, I've had relations with Johnny Storm, and then like all the superheroes that did go to the wedding will just bust out laughing. Doom is disgraced. She's hanging her head. Johnny's like, I'm gonna die.
I might have seen the artwork for that.
It's really good. I don't read FF on a regular basis. Like I said, I have unlimited access to whatever I want to read, so I have to pick and choose. Otherwise, I have a pile. I could drag these off my table. This is what I haven't read yet. So it gets to be a little daunting.
I know my comic book store is having their biannual half-off sale coming up in October.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys,
up then.
Free Comic Book Day is August 14th. So go into any comic store. There's no requirement to buy. You can
the day that I'm flying back. So I'm going to have you, if you could, put those two that I asked you about on hold.
Yeah, I totally remember what those are.
Stray Dogs and Something's Killing the Children one.
Where's my pen? Okay, yeah, I'm actually pressing. I'm pressing copies of the House of Slaughter, which is what it's actually called, because I don't know who they're hired at Diamond now, but they are manhandling books. I mean, just like imagine where do you grab a comic?
Do you think
Diamond's
the House of
always-
Slaughter? Do you think the House of Slaughter is going to go up in value?
Well, here's the thing about House of Slaughter is I believe it's limited because the main character is already dead. He dies in the main, like he gets killed in the main storyline of the main book. But you know, it's a way to. The thing is, the book will go up in value because it's a way to expand the universe and talk and introduce new characters without using the main book. And that's a sneaky little trick they do to get you to buy all the books because they introduced the Batman Who Laughs. We all saw him with the spiky eye thing. It came out. It was crazy. He was introduced in Teen Titans number 12. It's like no one's reading Teen Titans, but everybody who missed it is like, no, now I got to read Teen Titans every week, or I got to pick it up every month, or otherwise I'm going to miss out on a first appearance character, which is what, you know, when you get old and all your comic books are sitting around, you're looking for those keys because you got to make it worth your time.
I think I was going to try to read that, but it wasn't that the time of Metal, Dark Knight's Metal.
It was the Dark Knight's Metal thing. Yep, it was a little weird. It was a lot weird.
I bought like the first 2 or 3 episodes of Metal, and I just couldn't get into it.
Metal was like, yeah.
It was neat. I mean, the first story was interesting because it was, I guess they had torn some hole in the universe and they had been kind of patched it up with the Green Lantern Corps, I think, and this was like it decided to force its way open. But the concept in the Metal was you were introduced to these characters, and this was the only really good part I thought was you had all of these Batmen, these Bruce Wayne characters from different universes, and they were the worst versions of him. Like one was the version where he becomes Doomsday. There's one version where he gets the Speed Force, and they're all evil as AF, I guess you would say. And the one that I like the most, and I swear I'm right on this, I believe the Batman Who Laughs is not actually Bruce Wayne. I believe it's James Gordon's son, little James Gordon, who becomes, because he's also the detective, and he also has a genius mind. So I believe that's him. I have to double check. Don't quote me, but I think that's what made his character so interesting. And all the other ones were versions of Bruce Wayne, whereas this one was not.
Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to hitting the different stores. I hit a few comic stores when I was in Philly just because, you know, going to a different town, new selection to choose through. And I came away with maybe 2 of the Superman annuals or the giant issues.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really anything earth-shattering, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Vegas might have.
Yeah, you'll probably get a heck of a selection there. But of course, you know, my fear with big stores in big cities is they're already in the know, so they've been through all their books and they found all of the stuff that they could move real fast.
You got to realize when I'm going to the store, I'm not looking to pay $10-$20 for. Yeah. I mean, the 2 Superman comics I bought, I think they're upstairs, but I think I paid maybe $12 for them.
Yeah. See, I tried to do a happy medium. I try to take like the best 2 that I have of something. We'll send that off to be graded so we can make some operating money on, and then we leave the rest out there raw as best as we can. I mean, there've been times where our customers like, hey, I got this one in 25. Or I'll say that to him. Are you interested in buying it? He's like, yeah, and then he'll buy it. He'll hand it right back to me and say, could you grade it? And I'm like, I could have graded it, sold it to you graded, but you know. What are you gonna do?
See what you're talking about. I actually was at a comic store on Monday when I went away for the day with my wife for our anniversary, and it was in calendar. Didn't buy a comic, but I bought a figure.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ash Evil Dead, nice.
Ooh,
that's a pretty toy.
It's a superb one.
Ooh,
and
with multiple heads.
It's even got a picture of the car.
That's great. You know, the heads are good because how many expressions did he have during that movie, right?
Yeah, he's according to this 4.
That movie was nuts. First time I saw that movie, I was like, what am I watching? And I saw the original with the college production they did before they actually did Evil Dead 2 is actually a remake, right, of Evil Dead 1.
In effect, yeah. And then you've got the Army that did, which the
Army of Darkness.
Army of
Darkness, yeah.
Evil Dead 3 with the skeleton sitting up going.
They did a remake of that a few years back that was like full-on high-value production of just Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And I saw the trailer.
No. That Evil Dead was just a gore fest. That's
yeah,
all
I
it
saw a lady
was.
with the razor blade in her tongue, and I'm like, I'm not watching this movie. That's
No, see, I didn't like it. I must admit, I've got film slides from the movie as well on my wall, and I love Bruce Campbell stuff. I've got a load of his stuff.
dude, Bruce Campbell's great. Did you watch the show that he had? Was it HBO that had the one of the part of the pay networks had the Ash versus the Evil Dead?
The Evil Dead, the multiple seasons. Yes,
Yeah.
I did. I've
That was a
got
great show.
See,
I've got
got
one
both.
season. I've got season 1. I've not got season 2 yet.
I have
Season
both
2,
box
it
set
kicks
of
up.
Jack of Trades, Jack of all trades, and Briscoe County Jr.
I've got both of those. I've also got Bubba Hotep, and
Oh yes,
The Hotep, yeah, I saw that come through a couple times.
there was an my name is. They call me Bruce.
They call me Bruce.
no, my name is Bruce.
My name is Bruce. That's basically. I've got that one as well. I love Bruce Campbell, and yeah, I've even done a review of Briscoe.
Well,
on my
you
channel.
know, and I was about ready to send away for his autograph, but when I saw the autograph, you can't even decipher it. And if I'm going to get
Yeah.
an autograph, I want to be able to at least, have it look like his name.
Yeah. Or else I want to
Somebody
see him
should
sign
make
it.
it up.
I want him over in Scotland so he can sign it. After
You
all,
wanna
he's
meet
been
him.
over to Scotland.
You
Because
wanna
I'm
meet him.
actually in the middle of the How Chins Could Kill. And I've got Hail to the Chins as well. He's 2 books.
Do you have the audiobook?
Yes.
The
I've got both
audiobook
of
is
them.
awesome.
There's the two of them. I've got Hail to the Chins, The Confession of a B movie actor, and If Chins Could Kill was his second one.
Now look at that. I'm not going to pay $60
That's
For that.
it's like a mangled bass clef.
Yeah.
Musician, I knew exactly what he was saying.
But I mean,
Oh,
it's
my
like
goodness.
if I'm going to pay for an autograph, I want to at least be able to.
I wanted to say Bruce Campbell, no way.
I'll show you an autograph. Hang on a second. I'll be right back.
That's
So, I mean, at least with the Shatner autograph I got, you could tell that it's Shatner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want
because
one that
some-
actually you can read it, the name.
yeah.
Sometimes they have their assistants sign stuff for them too. So
Or
sometimes it's just a mechanical signature.
yeah.
Well, but for the Shatner one that I got through GalaxyCon or World or whatever it was, I paid the extra $10 to get the PSA certification on it.
Okay, so here's Ryan Stegman was an artist that was up and coming. He's done some really good stuff. This might be hard to see, but I'm going to try to put it right in front of the camera. That's a signature. There's a little Stegosaurus over his name because his name is Stegman.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, that's effort.
that's a little piece of art on a bigger piece of art.
Mhm.
And if you look at his signature when he does, God, this camera's terrible, but you can see he does the same thing on all of his artwork that he does. And that's I got guys in the shop who do sports cards, and they pull their cards like, oh, I got the auto, and it's like Mickey Mantle, it's a woo, and I get that. But honestly, I don't care about a signature at all unless it has something with it, like a memory, like did I meet this person?
Yeah.
And if you look behind me, these black boxes back here, all of those black boxes are the last 3 years I've gone to C2E2. Those are all contain comics that I have met the artist or the writer, and I have had the book signed in front of me. I got a whole slew of Scotty Young autos. I've got Chris Claremont on my wall. I'm staring at probably, like, I've got my first X-Men on the wall. It's signed by Chris Claremont and Jim Lee. I got to meet him. He's a bit of a...
Yeah, Jim Lee is.
I paid $100 for this Jim Lee fan experience, which is pretty cheap considering, celebrity status. And I was supposed to get a picture with him and sign some stuff. And for the picture, I had to lean over the counter and try to selfie with him. And it was like, that was not worth the money at all.
Yeah.
No,
I have,
he. Yeah, go ahead.
But Chris Claremont was fantastic.
I have a wide angle lens where I've kind of taught myself how to do that on my own, so I don't have to rely on someone else. But that's because I have a photography degree.
But still, you shouldn't have to take it yourself.
No.
No, it should have been like a green screen or something where you stand next to them and you get your picture taken and then you move on. If you're paying for that as part of an experience, it should be more than here, take my phone and let me lean over, because that's just, I got behind, like, Chris Claremont had his own table. He was $5 for his autograph. He signed all my books. He talked to me for a half an hour. The line looked at me like they wanted to stab me, but he liked me. Got behind the counter, got a great picture with him. You know, he said it was great. And that's what I like. I like to meet these people who influenced my, you know, because I grew up in a neighborhood with bullies, and it sucked. I spent most of my time in the house. So comic books became an impression of, you know, what I wanted to aspire to be in. These writers and these artists really inspired me to pursue my own artistic career and, you know, things that I did. So meeting them to me is much more important than just getting an autograph. You know, like Gal Gadot, they're doing a private signing with CGC for Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, who is fantastic woman. And it's $400. But you don't. That's you sending something in. Normally, you'd pay $400 at a con. You'd get to meet her, and then, you know, say hi. I love your work. You're fantastic. Here, sign my thing, and then you move on. You get that experience, that memory. Now they're still charging the same amount, but you don't even get to meet the artist.
Yeah, you get like a signature and a two minute
Yep.
Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I almost did one of those. I'm a huge Empire Strikes Back fan. One of my favorite Star Wars characters. Oh, very nice. Can we see PJ's screen there? He's got some pretties.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking through the autographs. Or let's see, hold on.
Got some Evil Dead cells.
Very good.
Very nice, very
Ooh.
pretty. Did you frame that yourself, PJ?
No. I bought it.
Oh, you got it as a set. Okay,
I got it as a set.
Very nice.
Basically, the filmcell.co.uk. Basically, it was right at the end of the Comic-Con, and it was the last one they had. And he gave me a cheap.
Well, they were doing a video. Well, you know, they did those video calls where you can talk somewhere 2 minutes. They had General Veers, who was also in Indiana Jones 3, The Last Crusade. I can't remember the actor's name, unfortunately, which is shameful.
Julian, what's his name?
Ooh.
Julian Glover.
Yeah. Okay. So he was doing one of those. It was like $25 for a 3 minute. I'm like, I should do that. I like him. You know, he's one of my favorites. And in the Star Wars franchise, I always thought General Veers was the baddest because he got it done for Vader. Vader never even looked at him like he was going to choke him. You know, he's like, I got you, Vader. I'll storm this base and take these people out, move apart my merry day, give me a glass of tea. You know, whatever.
Count? Wait, that's not General Veers. It's Count Scarleone.
Okay, this I don't get.
I got the one from
Very
Danny
wise
John
men.
Jules.
Is that the one everybody's making fun of in Star Trek?
Oh,
Yes.
that's Tilly.
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 $80
Tilly.
to get a picture with her. Get a picture with Chekhov is $90.
Well, I
Dude,
know
I'd
what I
rather-
would be
I'd
spending
rather
the
get-
extra tenner on.
I'd rather hang out with Rom, dude.
You know, honestly, I've always taken offense to when we come down on these. You know, the show is crap and it's woke as hell and nobody likes it, and I get that. But sometimes they go after these people personally, like physical appearance wise, and I'm like, you know what, that's not cool.
No.
But yeah, why? Why is she? Maybe there's people out there that identify with her. But
Well, you know what? It's my first job was working in trading pits. You know, it's bid offer. It's whatever
Woof.
the market will bear.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
well, it's a very good point because I saw
Yeah.
Rob Liefeld at C2E2 and his line was empty. Ain't nobody in his line. I'm like, let me sneak over there while I'm waiting to see Mark Silvestri.
That's
You know?
he's
And he
kind of a
wanted
douche.
$40. He wanted $40 for his auto. That was his bare minimum, was $40 to get his autograph on some random book. If he wanted first appearance Deadpool or Cable, it was like $150. And I'm like, well, that's why, you know, that's market value. Nobody is in your line because no one's going to pay those prices. Enjoy, you know, while Chris Claremont is charging $5 and people are laying stacks in front of him and getting 3 times as much done. You know, he's making more money. My dad always taught me fast dime over the slow dollar. But yeah, when it comes to autos, there's only so much money people can spend when they go to these shows. So, you know, you're not, if you say to yourself, I'm worth $80 a person, that's,
$80.
yeah. I'd say,
you know
That's
what?
why
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's why I like when the shows put on the shows, they invite guests there because they do, some guests will do a free thing where if you get in line, you can have one thing signed and say thank you. And that's like a promotional thing that some of the shows do. They don't do too much of that anymore. But generally, they bring people in, they pay them a fee, and then you can meet them and get something a little cheaper than doing like the Paul Rudd meeting at C2E2 2 years ago, which was, I think it was $400 per ticket to see him.
Well, you know, it's sometimes it's just a different methodology, or maybe someone else is just managing their business. You know, sometimes, like I said, in these trading pits, it'd be like, people set their offer high and just sit there, and someone comes in and takes it. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, we see that product all the time. I pulled a Baby Yoda card out of the Mandalorian set. It had an actual piece of the Razor Crest in the card from the stage used set piece that they did. And there's only 25. They were numbered to 25. And I looked at eBay right away because I'm like, I can't afford to not sell this card. It's nice. I like it, but it's one guy sold it for $1,000. Buy it now. And I'm like, wow. So I put it up there and it didn't sell. There were two others that had sold, but they had sold for like $550. So yeah, people will put stuff up there and just let it ride. If you find the right person who's like, I want to pay that because I don't have a choice and I want this card, I have this money. Yeah, it really is. It's all market. It's all market investment. Oh, I had a picture from the freaking the National Card Show in Chicago. Guy sent me a picture who went there. Guy bought a box, factory sealed box of basketball cards. It was the year that Michael Jordan's rookie year.
Yeah.
There was $136,000 in banded $100 bills piled up on this guy's countertop. It was 2 feet high and 3 feet wide. It was crazy.
So I'm just looking. We have no title card yet.
I'm not even getting.
Does anybody know who's the guest tonight?
Nope. I didn't get told last night.
Here's where all the action is. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I've not even actually got access to it at all because it's not showing up in my feed at all.
Well, let's see what Nerdrotic says on his.
It should be on via YouTube, maybe.
The Nerdfather's live.
Doesn't say anybody here.
Nothing yet. Does he do live from Nerdrotic or does he use the other?
No, he uses just his Nerdrotic. He doesn't use Nerdrotic Live for it.
So, well, it's coming.
Right, it's not showing up in my feed at all. So
he's not there now, but we know where he will be. We know where he will be.
So will he be doing a live broadcast of Friday Night Titan from Vegas?
Well, that's the thing we're trying to figure. He said he's going to, but not a crowd viewing.
Well, he said
a short one.
Well, he did. I think he wasn't specific, but I think Gary alluded to the fact that he found some sort of studio facility. So
it can't be too hard in Vegas.
I mean, yeah.
I might want to sterilize the whole place before he does the show. I found this studio.
The lady from Unspace.
Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie.
Nice.
So they're just going to be doing the filming in the studio. I mean, we're not going to be allowed to. See, that's part of the reason I was wanting to know if anybody wanted to do a watch party when in Vegas. But like I said, we'll just have to figure something out. But you're leaving Friday, you said, Max.
Yeah, I'm leaving Friday night. I too have a congregation to tend to. So
they don't let me go anymore.
Oh well. Well,
if I went, it would burn down. I think I'm terrible.
Sometimes you have a seat in the temple. Sometimes bricks fall on your head when you walk in.
I'll just let my father-in-law do the good talking for me. He's a minister.
The water's getting hot every time.
I got a replacement clergy for the weekend, so. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I know like Ginger is going to be there. Ginger, not Ginger. I don't know. Is Clobbering going?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's not.
Okay.
Tom's not going.
Who's not going?
Oh, Tom's not going. I'm not going. Mike's not going.
I'm not going.
I'm not going.
Midnight's Edge Tom.
I thought he was going to.
No, it's just no. And I'm staying back. 70s, he's stuck in commie Canada. Well,
Culture's going to be there, and I know.
There's a bunch of us that's going to be stuck back. So, if I would have had the money, I would have went. But there was no way I was going to get that money. So,
well, part of the thing was I booked the trip last year, and I had the vouchers. So really, it's only costing me $200 more because I had a really good trip to stay at Caesars with a few nights. And I just wish it wasn't in the middle of August.
Oh, I can't imagine. I have professed for years that it is better to try to warm up than it is to try to cool down. It is so much easier to warm up than it is to cool down. Why anybody would subject themselves to living in temperatures that get that hot is beyond me. I live in Iowa and it gets sweltering, swamp butt hot in the state, but you can jump in the pool.
Yeah.
You can put in the shower.
I've lived in Arizona all my life.
Considering I live in Scotland, where warm is actually just a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
Basically, I've always said I would rather be cold than hot, because if you're cold, you can put layers on. If you're hot, there's a limit to what you can take off before the police come up.
Yes, before you start to get in trouble. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, and unlike you, Justin, I just can't jump into the pool.
Well, same here. I can say that. What I mean is I would rather walk around in my jeans and my hoodies and my sweatshirts.
I'm saying because of my profession, I really can't just jump into a pool.
Oh.
With kids.
Oh, well, I suppose
appearances and everything.
One person ruins it for everybody.
Justin. Yeah.
I prefer to stay. Like, I'll take the cold over the hot any day. I mean, I've always joked about moving to Alaska, but then I heard they had like mosquitoes the size of pterodactyls. So
really,
we're not. No, they're huge. They're like that.
Or is it not pterodactyls the size of mosquitoes? One of the two is going to be bad.
Stab. Here, you just have to look out for drunk rodeo guys after the rodeo.
You think mosquitoes are bad? You've never been in Scotland this summer. Midges.
You know what? That's the one place I would go. My wife and I joked about that years ago about taking a trip overseas. She's like, let's go to Egypt. I'm like, no, I ain't going anywhere with sand. Take me to the Highlands of Scotland.
Egypt?
It may be cold, but it looks beautiful.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Well,
I want to go back to Rome.
Yeah, wow. I was away for the day up in Scotland, and it's just basically just a wee tourist town. And I posted a picture, and it was absolutely amazing. I love going up to it because
it's green there, right? Really green.
Yes.
See, it's green here.
Even the water's green.
Oh, that's green.
Wayoon, you can get Jeffrey Combs autograph for $35 on Friday. That's amazing.
Who's Jeffrey Combs?
Wayoon, he was Wayoon, and he was
from
also
from Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, and he was also the Andorian on Enterprise, and he was also in the Reanimator movie as the guy who invented the green stuff. And
I never got into Deep Space Nine.
Oh man,
I watched it, but I never really liked it. My guilty pleasure, I must admit, is Voyager. I hate all the characters. I love. No, I dislike most of the characters. I dislike most of the characters, but I can't stop.
Oh, they got Mark Aliemo on Saturday. It's Gul Dukat.
Nice.
I think I really liked DS9 because it handled all the dirty issues of politics and diversity and what the Cardassians did to the Bajorans.
I got to interject. That was the greatest thing. I went back to watch Deep Space Nine because they threw it up on Netflix. And the first step was I forgot who the antagonists were in that. And it was during the time that the Kardashian family was. I'm so sick of hearing about this. And it was like the Cardassians are the evil ones. I'm like, yes, the Kardashians are terrible.
Yes.
Oh, wait, Kardashians.
The Kardashians, yes.
It's the same thing.
The Kardashians, yes.
So every time they say the Kardashians, I'm like, yeah, the Kardashians, they suck. Let's get the worst people. That was so great.
They named that race quite well.
Oh my god! And it was every 5 seconds they were saying the name, like they were trying to get you to remember it, so you understood who the antagonists were in the show. And I'm like, yes, they are the worst people.
I mean, and Mark Aliemo, who played Gul Dukat, who was like the primary Cardassian, also played. He played the first Cardassian you ever met on the Wounded, the one where it was O'Brien's former captain. Remember Remember when they had the Cardassians with the little headgear and everything?
Yeah, it was like really early Cardassian. Yeah,
that was
he was also in Babylon 5, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Did you ever play that game with what actors have been in both Star Wars and Star Trek? For the longest time, there was only one, and it was Scott Bakula. Because when Generations was the name of the Star Trek show, that when he was the captain of the ship before.
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Aye.
At that time, I think he was the only member who any actor who did both. Because it's an Empire Strikes Back reference, but Scott Bakula is in Empire Strikes Back. He has lines.
Oh,
But now he realizes he's the part where the Millennium Falcon finally gives up, turns on the front shields, heads right for the Star Destroyer, right before they hook onto the back of the command unit, and they hide. He goes, Captain Nita, the ship no longer appears on our scope.
no scopes.
Yeah, and he says, well, they have no trace of them, sir. That's Scott Bakula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He basically took a quantum leap between franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, Julian Glover was in Doctor Who. He was in Star Wars.
Ooh.
And Indiana Jones, because he was the baddie in Last Crusade. There's also another guy. His name is Deep Roy, and he played the Peking Homunculus in Talons of Wang Chiang. He was in Blake 7 several times. He was, I believe,
Willy Wonka.
Yeah, he was in Willy Wonka. He must have been in Star Trek. He's been.
The assumption he had to be.
No, I know he was in Star Trek. He's a very
He just
famous.
died recently too, didn't he?
Really? Let me look up. His name is. But he was.
Who's the faster IMDb? IMDb. What was his name again?
No, Deep
No,
Roy.
he didn't. I'm sorry. No, he didn't die
he's still
recently.
alive.
There's somebody that died recently. Well, I'm not even going to guess who it was.
Oh, right. He's the smaller gentleman.
He was in The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
What was he in
Mad
Empire?
Max.
Was he an Ugnaught?
He was a stand-in for Yoda and R2D2.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting. I didn't know that. I thought Kenny Baker was all the R2D2 work.
I thought it was Kenny Baker.
Well, he was. He was a stand-in.
Standing,
So,
different situation. I get
he was
that,
he was Mr. Sin in Talons of Wang Chiang. He was
Beggar Man and X-Files.
He was in.
I love the Talons of Wang Chiang.
That's a
one of my
bet. I mean, it was. It was so funny that Li Sen Chang. Remember the Invasion of Dinosaurs? General Finch. That's the guy who played. Li Sen Chang.
It just goes to show. But
Yeah.
10 subs away from when I hit 100, I'm going to do a giveaway, and it's going to be the Talons of Wang Chiang because it's my favorite, and I'm going to do a review of it at the same time.
Deep
You
Roy,
see?
I love it.
Deep
No
Roy
one
was-
else, Mr. Sin.
Deep Roy was also. This is cool. He was Droopy McCool in the band in Jabba's Palace. That was the blue guy, the big
Star
blue guy.
Wars,
Yeah.
Star Wars, Star Trek,
Dark
Doctor
Crystal.
Who.
Dark Crystal. Now that's
This is Spinal Tap.
That is a
Flash
beautiful movie. I love that.
Gordon. I mean, this guy Deep Roy has done everything.
His list just goes on and on. I'm sitting here just
Yeah.
like thumb. By the way,
Yeah.
Dark Crystal, let's touch on that. That is a brilliant movie. I was upset with how they did the series on Netflix. I thought they had a real opportunity to bring back the charm, but it was so bright and well lit that it didn't have that gritty, dark.
See, I don't normally like dark stuff. I like my stuff to be nice and bright and humorous and stuff. Like I don't normally like, but see, Dark Crystal, I remember it terrifying me, and I loved it for that. And having something dark but fun, dark, you sort of brightening it up for what reason? It's just nuts.
Well,
And
that's the thing. Yeah. They take a movie with a certain tone and they try to recapture that by telling a story using the same characters. You kind of want to match that tone. Like, I almost wish they would interject a little bit of grain to the film just to give it that classic look. Because, what was I watching today? And I had not seen it on 4K. I got a big TV and I got the Xbox Series. I got 4K everything now, and it's great. But sometimes it's like, wow, this does not have quite the same charm that it used to have because it doesn't have that gritty, real feel to it. It looks a little bit more manufactured than it should be.
Yeah. See, I like my classic stuff, but it's like when you're watching a remake of something, and take Willy Wonka since we were mentioning it, right?
Oh, yeah.
First one with Gene Wilder, fantastic.
Brilliant.
See,
Yeah.
the second one, they tried
Yes.
to catch that again, but they made it too weird.
It
Yeah,
was
well, yeah,
lightning
it
in
was-
a bottle with Gene Wilder.
Yes,
Lightning
and
in a
that's what it
bottle.
is. They were trying to catch the same with obviously a slightly different tone to it. You can understand because they couldn't get a Gene Wilder. There's nobody.
Yeah.
It's so iconic like that who could
We're trying
catch
to
it like
follow
that.
Freddie Mercury. You just can't
Yeah.
do it.
They tried to change it slightly, but they changed it so much it was unwatchable. I didn't think much of it. The only
Yeah.
thing I liked about it was deep doing all the Oompa Loompas. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Because the other it just didn't like with all the bright colours and it just looked too weird with the original Oompa Loompas. I could understand why they decided to do it with Deep, and that looked amazing. But you imagine of how many times he'd have had to do things
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
just to actually get the right take and the different angles and everything.
I
I
had
just
that
can't imagine it.
with
it
my
was-
daughter. It was the clone, the guy who does the voice of the clones on like the Bad Batch and Star Wars, the Clone Wars. That voice, I'm like, does he get paid by the line? Because he does so much work in those shows. He's talking all the time. He's talking to himself. There's 5 different versions of him on the screen, and he's doing all the dialogue. I'd love to know: does he get paid per line, or does he get paid per show?
Yeah, I would love to know also, Groot. It's Vin Diesel does Groot. 3 words. Does he get paid for those 3 words, or does he get paid every single time he says
They're very
the
expensive
same
words.
thing?
They're
I
very
know.
expensive words.
He basically says that the whole through, and wait a minute, I could learn that script.
Well,
I am Groot.
He does it very well, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the emotion he conveys. I'll give props. I'm not being funny. He does a very good job of doing Groot. And
Well, for
I
3
enjoyed that.
words, he gets a lot of things across. I can't deny that.
But see, I really enjoyed him as the Iron Giant. That was a classic animated film that not a lot of people took the time to watch.
Wait,
And
who
my
was in
daughter-
the Iron Giant?
He was the Iron Giant.
The classic Iron Giant is
The,
I thought it was
the animation,
a really good
yeah.
one.
Yeah, it was great.
So, just to take a sidetrack, I saw something that came up on one of my feeds, and it was Scott Squad on the BBC, and it was Scottish cops, and this one Scottish cop is giving an apology, and in the end he
Oh,
Oh,
know,
yeah, I saw that.
and then and it's like
he used
I
to
look,
be an absolutely. That was a comic. He's a comic. What's his name?
and I look it up, and it's like this thing has been on for like 6 seasons. And like, why am I just seeing this now?
Is it a modern show? Like, is it today's day and age?
Yeah, no, it's been on
It's
since
still going
2014.
just now.
It's been on since 2014.
Yeah, it's basically a lot of Scottish comics. The one that did that was in one called Absolutely. It's just I'm trying to even remember his name. Donald something. Can't remember, but he's been around for a while and he's a really good. But this one he's apologising and he makes a silly remark at the end.
Yeah.
Then he has to apologise to the
Apologise for
people he
that.
offended, and he just keeps going and makes another. And it gets down to the point where he just apologises for apologising, and just because he
Yeah.
doesn't want to say anything else in case and then he realises he apologises again. No matter what he does,
Yeah.
he says something at the end. He says, "No, like I'm an Irishman. I apologise
So-
to all Irishmen because I that type of thing." And it's just
Are we sure he's not
I-
Canadian? Sorry.
yeah.
I'm not going to play the video, but this just came live for those that remember Saturday Night Live when it was
Oh, yeah.
good.
The weekend
Oh,
update.
Love
gosh.
the title of it. 35 minutes of why Norm Macdonald got fired from Weekend Update.
Oh, because he didn't care. He gave 0 Fs when he did
Yeah.
that show. Jim Brewer.
And
talked
he was
about
really good on that. So
Yeah,
I'm going to watch
I mean,
that later.
he had, I mean, he had a lot to live up to, because really the best who did that was Dennis Miller, and
Yes,
he
Dennis
had
Miller.
he had to. Well, that was when Dennis Miller was Dennis Miller. That was not
Well,
Dennis
yeah.
Miller. Dennis Miller. I mean, after Saturday Night Live, Dennis Miller had the Dennis Miller Show, and then after that, then Dennis Miller after the Dennis Miller show on HBO, then there's like Dennis Miller on Monday Night Football, which is completely different.
Did you see him show up on David Spade's show where it was Dennis Miller, it was Norm Macdonald, and Kevin Nealon all came on and were guests on the David Spade's show that he had where he was basically being David Spade. It was great to see the three of them talk about Weekend Update and the things that they did together in the show.
That Scots guy was Jack Docherty.
Okay. Jack Docherty.
If you're looking for anything with him in it, he's good. And he has got a weird sense of humor.
Oh, no. Okay, so I'm sorry, I err, because Kevin Nealon was before Norm.
Yeah,
Macdonald.
I didn't care for Kevin.
Yeah, he didn't do well. I think that's why he got replaced by Norm, because Norm was a little cooler. Kevin Nealon was the subliminal guy. That was his big shtick.
Yeah. He was okay. But it was but yeah, Dennis Miller was tough shoes to fill.
He was a rock star. Yeah, he was really good on that show.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was just watching Joe Rogan's show. He was talking to Jim Brewer because I love when he talks to comedians, and they were talking about what it was like to write for that show. And the one thing, if you wanted to make it on Saturday Night Live, you had to get out of writing skits and get into Weekend Update and monologues. Because according to him, everything was on the same server, and head writers would come in and they would steal your idea and make it their own, but they didn't have anything to do with Weekend Update or the monologue. So you see guys like Adam Sandler and these guys break out where they first showed up doing things in the Weekend Update, and then they would branch off from there. I thought that was really interesting.
I mean, it's just God, I can't remember the last time that show has been consistently funny. I think it really has been. I mean, even when Tina Fey was on, it was the time when it was Chris Farley and Farley and Rock and Sandler and Spade.
Well, even the Will Ferrell years where they had different whole set of cast, they were pretty good. But I think what really happened, what really shit-canned it for me, was they stopped making fun of both sides. You can tell when it got to be a political aspect. I mean, it was always a political show because they'd make fun of politics. But when they stopped being fair about making fun of, I mean, why? Where are the comedians making fun of our president right now? He's a gold mine of material, and ain't nobody talking about him.
I saw the picture of him with the little girl yesterday.
Oh gosh,
they got a picture of him with the purple hair from the soccer player girl. When the media tells you you're a winner, and I'm like, yes, that's funny. Why isn't that on every show? I mean, it's the biggest joke in the world right now, and nobody's laughing. I'm like, where's the material? Where's the comedians? Maybe they used COVID to shut down the country so the comedians couldn't go on tour and make fun of him.
I mean, it's like,
nah, the comedians aren't that funny anyway nowadays.
Yeah.
When your president is the kind of guy who you would take poops in a bag, put him on the front doorstep, light him up, do the run and gun, as Clobby's first mate would put it. That's comedy gold right there, or at least silver. And you can do the silver, take a knee, and still be proud of yourself. And why aren't they doing that?
Yeah, I've even noticed, even in Scotland, we basically have been hit over the head with American politics. I used to love a Scottish comedian. He's half Scottish, half Indian. He basically was fantastic, Danny Boy, and he was one of my favourite comedians. And he came over. He hit big in Australia, so he did a lot of stuff there. And I first saw him on YouTube. He came over to Scotland, saw him the first time, fantastic, taking the mickey out of the independence, Scottish independence. It was the day after the vote, and he just basically turns around and says, "What did yous all do?" Because obviously they got away. So he's just taking the mickey out of politics, as you do, just messing around. Second time he came through, one of the first things he said is about America and how bad it was, because the only reason Trump got in is because his opponent was a woman and nobody wanted to vote for her because she's a woman. And I just thought, nah. And it went downhill from there. And it was all about how we vote. I'm sitting there thinking, this is Scotland, not America. But he's effectively telling us the reason nobody voted for her is because she's a woman. No other reason. It was only because of that. And I'm sitting there thinking, where's the humour? Where's the taking the mickey out of both sides? No, it was just basically, didn't even take the mickey. He just basically turns around and says, that's the reason why he doesn't do it in America anymore because, and I'm just sitting there thinking, where's the humor? There is zero humor because he's just talking politics, and it's
you're not
all
allowed to make fun
one-sided.
of that side. You can't make fun of them.
Yeah,
They can make fun of
and
you all day long, but you cannot make fun of them. That's not fair.
Yeah, but it was the fact is he didn't even have any jokes. It was just all politics. I'm sitting there thinking, no, I've never watched anything he's done after that because
When's the last time you saw the broadcast of the Free Press dinner, where they would literally, I think it was the last one they did was the Obama administration, where, oh man, what was it? They were basically Trump or somebody was roasting him. They were roasting each other on stage.
Obama was just lambasting Trump.
Oh yeah,
and he was just sitting there like,
no,
those faces.
So I got a clip I wanted to show.
Yeah.
This is from Norm.
I was gonna invite you to Bedminster. I was gonna let you play 9 holes and not charge you, but no.
That last election with Hillary and Trump, I basically just looked in the mirror and I was like, rotten fruit or moldy cheese. What am I doing here?
That's what I thought was funny was.
Here we go. This is a short clip.
Lucid, back on Earth after a record 6 months in space, was welcomed home Tuesday with a phone call from President Clinton. Said the president, quote, "This is just the beginning. One day we'll be able to send an American into space indefinitely, and I hope it's a woman."
Although I just watched that last episode of season 1 where we send the probe, Doctor Who, and they send the probe into space, and the A positive blood sample, and they come back. So, do you really want that representing the planet, sending that out into space? Maybe they'll be scared of us if that's who we send out. Yeah. Don't go to Earth. This thing came from Earth. It's a bad place.
See, the thing about you were saying about politics as well. See the last election over in America. Even I was laughing, and it's a case of do you take the? I'm trying to think of a way of putting it. It doesn't actually sound too bad, but still puts the point across. Yeah. Well, I suppose the way you put it, do you take the sour milk or the moldy cheese?
That's exactly
As you said, it's basically. You take the least bad. You're not. At one point, you voted for the best person for the job. Nowadays, you vote for the least worst person for the job, and that's even in the UK.
Or South Park put it: the giant douche or the turd sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I wrote in Marco Rubio. I just wrote it in. I was like, I can't bring myself to put my mark down, and I was like, I just wrote in Marco. I was a Catholic. And he's Spanish, he's in Spanish heritage. I like him, so I just wrote him in, and I can think of it. I'm 45, and Kristen understands this because he's older than me. I grew up in the Reagan eras with my dad in a mostly conservative household, although I am very middle of the road. I'm very conservative when it comes to finance and financial responsibility and being the smart parent. But when it comes to the cool stuff, I'm kind of liberal on that. But I remember when men were respected, and women, in their positions. Now, I swear, the presidential election has become American Idol. Who's going to win? And it becomes it's no longer a service to our country. It is now a prize to be won, because if you become president, you're done. You got money forever. You got security. You got a nice house. You got a library.
It's like Obama's house.
See, that's the same across the board. That's the same across the board for everything. See, when I was growing up, there was not a lot of newsreaders you would class as celebrities, right? So you had like Angela Rippon and you had Trevor McDonald. Two of my favourites, one black man, one woman. Two of my favourites. See if I watch the news, I think, did they get it just because they're the best, or did they get it just because? And that's wrong, because the way people have decided to turn it. So instead of having one of the best newscasters of all time, Trevor McDonald, basically now you've got people, you're sitting there thinking, I wonder why they got the job. And that's wrong, and that's what it's turned into now. Instead of looking at TV and looking at the best people, you're now just wondering why they got the job.
It's been a monster that's steamrolled into something completely different from what it is, and it is no longer like the priesthood. It is no longer a call to serve. It is now Well, I can't wait. If you're, and the thing is, here's the thing: is you've got one side that you feel like lies to you, got the other side where you feel like they're trying to do themselves a favor. But it's just, if you've got people that are lying to you to get into a position where they control decisions over your lives, regardless of what they're lying about, if they lie to you, that means they believe that they can't get that position in life without lying to you because you don't want them to do what they're going to do. And if that's the case, you shouldn't be running for office in the first place, because the people you're going to represent don't want you to do what you're going to do. And that's the whole point.
Yeah. Have you read any Terry Pratchett?
I don't read. That's not a joke. I have trouble reading novels.
No, Terry Pratchett, audiobooks then, but Terry Pratchett, he does the Discworld, right? One of his things was, there was one of these books, it was all about Forex, as in, you can imagine that's what the continent was. Rincewind ended up in jail, and he's sitting talking to this guy, and he says, "What you in for?" He says, "Oh, I'm the mayor. They automatically put us in here once we want to stand. Saves them time."
Huh.
And I think they're thinking, Terry Pratchett knows a lot about politics.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what it should be doing. As soon as somebody wants to stand, the first thing people should do is look into why they want to stand.
Yep.
If they want to stand because you get people who will stand because there's a certain thing they want to deal with, and they only can get in.
Right.
If they get in, they can get on it. So it could be they're a trade unionist, and they know the unions are never going to get anything unless they've got somebody in Parliament. So they've got, that's not bad. That's just they're going for one particular goal, and I can understand that. But it's the ones that go in to help. Help themselves. That's mostly.
I sometimes think we should have the same system as they had on Vengeance on Varos. You know,
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's the Colin Baker episode where where it's like every time the governor had a vote on a particular bill, he had to strap himself in, and there was like a cell destroyer disruptor, and they voted up or down.
If he actually survived it.
Yeah.
Your life was on the line with every choice you made. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's put that in the Constitution.
See, the way I look at it, see if a politician is making a choice for anybody, they have to live with it for a half a year beforehand. So if they are cutting funding to something, then they have to live without that funding at all. So all their money means nothing. So
that's just it. There's no more consequence anymore.
Yeah, of course.
There's no. Richard Nixon did what he did. He resigned from the office of president. We've seen events that dwarf that situation, and they don't take responsibility. All they do is they find a way to get out of it and make you forget about it, and then they move on with what they're doing. Yeah. And it's like we're supposed to pretend that they didn't do that horrible stuff. It's like, why aren't you paying for the things that you did? Where's the responsibility, and how can we hold you in any way responsible for anything that you do if the laws don't apply to you?
Well,
accountability.
And that's exactly it, because it's the same as no matter what they do, they should have to live with the consequences. Even if it's something like, we're going to cut benefits to people in this bracket. Right, no problem. Give us all your money. That's what you've got to live on for 6 months. Let's see how you do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then see how they decide. So if they're actually deciding to raise tax, then okay, you earn the money they're earning, and the tax is raised then, and see how you can live with less. Not the money you've got because you don't count because you've not raised your tax. It's things like that. I just think they have to live with the consequences before they inflict it on any of us.
I mean, the closest we really have to that, other than general morals and ethics clauses, is the 27th Amendment, which says that Congress can't do a pay raise that goes into effect. They can do the pay raise, but it goes into effect the next term.
And that's why term limits are the first thing that need to change in the country.
Yeah.
I think these people, it needs to be just like the president. You can no longer, and there are people in office that I actually respect. And I think wow, they're doing their job. They're trying their best, and they've been there for a long time. But there's other people, like, for example, our president, who has been in office longer than I've been alive. And what has he done? Those are the people that are lifetime politicians, and it's not about what they can do for you, and it really isn't. It's about, I mean, the original days of our country, they would come to Washington, they would make their decisions, and they would go back to their farm or their distillery, and they would do their job. And you came to serve and volunteer. Now, granted, it's been 200 years, and it's too complicated. It doesn't work like that anymore.
Well, Harry Truman also did that. So.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what? You can teleconference anything. We just found out these last 12 months that you can pretty much do any job from your house.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got a video camera.
No.
I'm talking to you guys right now. We can make parliament decisions right now.
Well, it just goes to show power corrupts. Absolute power makes
Corrupts,
you sniff
absolutely.
little girls' hair.
I'm not gonna be able to unhear that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I understood a word out of his mouth the whole time we've been here. I'm having trouble.
It's all your accents. I keep telling people Scots don't have an accent. It's everybody else.
PJ doesn't. Yeah, PJ doesn't have an accent. You know,
Correct.
so.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Joe Biden was? Can you imagine if Joe Biden was Scottish? Oh, come on, man! No, we're just gonna do this. We're gonna give everyone money, and we're gonna extend the thing, and you know.
No.
That sounds like the guy from.
own ass. I want my own ass.
That was the best.
Sorry, Father. I'm sorry.
That was only second to him walking up the stairs to the plane, and they had him on in the bar scene where everybody's like, "Yeah!" As he gets to the very top, everybody's cheering for him, like they did with the Mandalorian episode.
Yeah.
I like the one where they basically just kept falling up until they actually opened and they fell in.
Yep.
That's great. They were missing an RKO meme moment right there. They should have got to.
At least you've not got wee Jimmy Cranky.
I know, PJ. I know.
Jimmy Cranky. That's basically.
I'll tell you what.
Can it?
Pull up a chair, get your popcorn and your favorite drink for the next presidential election in this country, because it's going to be nuts. It's going to be on fire.
At least use a get an election. We basically, because the Scottish National, the Socialist Nationalist Party, as I call it, but the Scottish National Party are basically got no competition whatsoever. So basically, they get in every time for the last 14 years. There's no competition.
Well, there you go, PJ. There's your calling. It's time to step up.
Aye.
Get the Hooligans to unite, man. I'm sure there's enough of them to swing the vote.
Listen, we actually can't even identify the actual doctors who are Scottish because the accents don't work.
Well, you get the outfit. You stand in front of the podium. It's not my. This is my Sonic Skydiver. It's flatted.
I am actually saying nothing. I'm actually just digging out my freedom.
Well, we can have a little fun here, PJ, by asking your view on Scottish independence.
Yeah, there you go. God, what a good movie.
See, I've got a weird thought about that. See, when the independence vote came around, I voted yes for independence. Now I would vote no. The reason it's changed is we've got Scotland as part of United Kingdom, which is part of Europe. So we had the Scottish Parliament, the main the UK Parliament, which had a lot of powers over the Scottish Parliament. Then we had the European Parliament, which was another level. So when we were under Scotland, the European Parliament as well as the UK Parliament, voting to get independence means we were losing one layer of government. So we still had the Scottish and the European instead of Scottish, UK, and then European. Now we've got Brexit. The Scottish want to be in Europe, so they're saying we want independence, but we want to join that bigger group. So they're not wanting independence; they just want to go and get somebody else to tell them. It's like saying, "I don't like your rules, Dad. I'm going to stay with my granda who makes the rules worse than you." So
I didn't realize that the Europe had any sway over the UK at all. I thought the UK was completely independent.
The laws and everything, they basically implemented laws that the UK had to follow and certain policies and such like. Now the UK are out of it, they don't. So they're effectively, Scotland want independence, but they want to join Europe, which is basically going to tell them you can't use the pound, you have to use the euro, which they'll not be able to do because they've not got the finances to do it. But they're all late. The European government will be able to pass laws over Scotland. And I'm sitting there thinking they're one out of one to get into another, so they don't want independence. Prior to that, there was two layers. Now,
what was, I mean, PJ, what was really the biggest issue? I mean, what was really the biggest issue of Brexit? I mean, I know that there were all these.
The biggest issue for Brexit was especially in Scotland, was most people still wanted to be part of Europe.
Yeah.
And that was it. They basically wanted to be part of Europe because the politicians, majority of the politicians wanted to be part of Europe. And they don't understand that. See, the Scottish independence vote failed. So there was 45% roughly who wanted independence, 55% said no. So they lost the independence. But when the European vote came in, it was the whole of Britain.
Yeah.
But they says, but Scotland voted to stay with Europe. Well, actually, no. Scotland voted as part of Britain, and Britain voted to leave.
But
so
what was the primary impetus for the UK to leave?
Sovereignty, to pass their own laws and not have any other body telling them what laws they have to implement.
That's usually best for all countries, is to have more control over what happens in your country.
Well, I think Europe's going to be I would think it's going to break up in the next 10 years. I think there's more and more people. They're already talking about an Italian or I don't know what they're classing it as, but you had Frexit. France is talking about leaving. Italy's talking about leaving. Spain's
Hungary on the news last night. Was that the head of the guy from Hungary was talking about? I don't understand why these other countries are just letting people into their country and that goes, no, you need to keep from. That's one thing, I guess, the one benefit we have, because this whole last 12 months we've seen where the federal government in the United States tries to implement rules and regulations and laws and stuff, but we still as a state have our own rights, and we still decide what happens in our state. And I'll tell you what, I've never been much for local politics, but God bless our governor, because
but you imagine if your governor was a lot weaker and the federal government forced it through, and he goes, all right then.
Yeah, I'm sure there's things like
that's effectively what Europe would be like. If Europe wanted to be a federal state similar to the US, they wanted all the countries in it to follow. They implemented what they wanted. You could have certain things in each country, but we tell you the majority of the things to do. That's what Europe wanted to be.
It's kind of a good idea sometimes, because when it comes to real big things, it's nice if in every country in that area follows the same kind of, like, if you murder someone, you go to jail. Well, yeah, that's a good law. We should all follow that law. But you can't. All the other countries don't get to decide what Italy does. All the other countries don't get to decide what Germany does. They need to have that control on their own. Same with Scotland. I mean, really, you should have your own control.
Exactly. But the thing is, if you're going to have somebody above you, do you stick with your old neighbour who you've known and lived with and grew up with, or do you go to somebody else who's completely different? And so they tell you what to do. So hence the reason why now, if the vote come up, I would vote to remain as part of Britain. I wouldn't vote for independence, because I don't trust Scottish politicians at all.
No, politicians.
English politicians I dislike, but it's not because they're so myopic about the independence. They don't care about the COVID. They don't care about COVID. They don't care about the drug deaths in Scotland, because everything is unimportant compared to independence, even in the middle of a pandemic. Even when the Scottish drug deaths are at an all-time high and climbing, they don't care, as long as they can talk about independence and get that. Because everything that's happening in Scotland, that's Britain's. That's the UK government's fault, not the Scottish government. We can't do things. So it's basically that attitude, and that's why I would never touch them again. And I had voted SNP all my life, right up until about 6-7 years ago. I wouldn't touch them with a bar's pole now. So it's just the politics is just so corrupt up in Scotland. I need to watch what I'm saying, because I could actually get done for hate crimes now. If
I
say
welcome it.
something
I want
that's
to be on the
coming-
news someday. I want them to be my front door. The Dustin Whitlock will not comply with that. Oh, I won't. I won't comply. Come get me.
Well, in Scotland, basically, if somebody else gets offended what I say, even in somebody else's behalf, I could get arrested.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible.
So I could talk to my
Granted,
wife
that's
about something.
happening here too. Some of the people from the Capitol, the 4-hour Capitol riot, which I still scoff at, are being held without trial, without representation. And I'm like, how is this being allowed? Where are our representatives who are supposed to be protecting us? And the fact that they're not beating down the doors of the people in control of these imprisoned Americans is I still can't believe that's not the number one subject on the news every single day is Americans being imprisoned without rights.
Yeah. Anybody,
What
it
the
doesn't
hell?
matter. See, I'm one of those ones. Anybody, even illegal immigrants, shouldn't be held without rights. I'm for everybody having rights, basic human rights, but that doesn't mean rights to come in and do things your way. It just means basic rights. So
Well,
if somebody gets
follow the law.
arrested, they get representation and stuff like that. I believe that, but I don't believe that somebody should come into a country illegally. If somebody comes in legally, then they're part of that country. I don't care their colour, whatever. Don't care anything about that. If somebody comes in legally, then they're as Scottish as I am. Don't care. If somebody emigrates to Scotland and wants to stay in Scotland, don't care where they were born, don't care what they look like, they're Scottish. End of story. They might not have been born here, but they became Scottish. If somebody comes in illegally, if somebody illegally comes here and basically says, I want you to change to because of me, nah, nope. You're coming here because you like Scotland, so why should we change to be like you? No. And if somebody comes, emigrates, I know people who have emigrated here and people have said to them, oh, I see you've got new neighbours in who came from your country. They said, nope, I came here legally. They walked in. I had to spend years filling in forms, saving money, getting a job, and they walk in. So why should I be happy with
No
that?
one is more offended than the people that did the work to get there legally.
They
hate illegal immigration more than
Yes,
anybody.
they do, because they put the work in to come, and I quite agree with that. And if somebody says, but he's an immigrant. He's not. He's a legal immigrant, which means he's as Scottish as I am. Yes, I was born here. But if somebody decides that country's for me, it's like me going to Saudi Arabia. If I decided Saudi Arabia was for me and I basically emigrated there and I wanted to be there, I'm not going to turn around and say, you should all be wearing kilts. No, because I would say that's the country I want to be in. And that is my new nationality. End of story. But I don't like things like that. And I'm very opinionated, funnily enough.
Well, the more we speak out, PJ, the more that they'll hear, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Yes. And I understand certain people's attitude with the Scottish independence. I know why some people are very for it. But I also don't understand where other ones are, because they say it because independence. But what do you want independence for? Independence. That's not an argument. That's not a reason.
Well, and that goes with anything that happens here too. At any political spectrum, is people will say buzzwords or keywords is independence. Well, now what do they mean when they say that? That's the question you have to ask. So, independence from the rest of the world so that we can throw rubber balls at each other and spit in people's faces. Well, that's not what I want. I want this independence over here, which is complete control of our laws and the policing of our people and the financial responsibility. I joke with my wife the other day. I said, what would happen if we pulled all of our foreign funding to every country for 1 year? Yeah. What kind of impact that would have? That would never happen. We don't have that control over that. That's our government's job. But this decisions like that, it's like, well, you don't want the wrong person in charge of that decision. Yeah. So you've got to be careful with what they say.
Yeah. And just to actually answer that question, us Scots don't have an accent, just so you're aware.
I agree with you, laddie.
Aye.
That's pretty bad.
If you want to see a good Scottish accent, Ricky Fulton doing See You, Jimmy on YouTube. See You, Jimmy on YouTube. You'll see Ricky Fulton doing his Scottish accent. That is a Scottish accent.
I always relied on, like I said, I'm in my 40s. I always relied on Sean Connery, and that was my go-to. So
exactly.
Yes. Go on,
yeah. Yeah. So I've got a show.
Is it time?
No, I'm expecting them to go live real soon now that the card is up.
I'm calling it I'm saying he's going to be 12 and a half minutes late, so that's 2:57.
What's the over/under on that? 5 minutes.
I'm
There
saying
you go.
I'm saying
Sean
12 and a half today.
You can get it. What's the spread?
I had it on the money at 10 and a half last week.
Nice. So what do we win?
Well, while we still have time, I don't know if I'm
Stupid
going to be doing
prizes.
the stream next Friday yet or not,
Yeah.
because I don't know what the schedule's going to be like. So I'll play it by ear, let you guys know.
Yes, definitely.
No, just send me a text. I'll be on. I love the
Because,
attention.
like I said, my goal is hopefully to get together with some of the people in Vegas and just watch the show together. But
Lots of
like I
pictures.
said, I don't know what's.
Lots of pictures.
It'll probably be on Twitter more than Facebook. So
Twitter's
I'm
the
not
devil.
going to.
Twitter's the devil, and you know it. It's terrible.
Most of the pictures I'll probably be taking are just like group pictures. I'm not really going to be uploading the casino pictures and stuff like that.
Okay, I want a call from Gary if you get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Put him on the phone. Tell him to come to Iowa. Texas is too hot.
Yeah,
We'll find a nice cornfield.
yeah, but Iowa in July is pretty bad too.
Tell him my kiddie bike is as good as his Harley.
Well, I'm hoping that it'll have the Hoovian wrath again soon.
Yeah. Did you hear that? But what a couple of my friends had said that it was very like Gary's. I says that's like me having a kiddie bike and him having a Harley, and they're saying they're the same.
Yeah, but until they start making Build-A-Bear and Doctor Who's.
There is. There's two Build-A-Bears. There's two Build-A-Bear Doctor Who's.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome.
There is.
They
There's
got the scarf, right? They got the long scarf.
nope. It is
No.
Dr.
David
Nasty.
David Tennant and Dr. Nasty. That's the two.
Tennant.
There
Yeah,
is no classic one.
Tennant
Oh.
is entertaining. He is I like him so far. I want to see more. It's funny though. I did like a few episodes. I think it was the one with the it was one of the first ones where they go way into the future and that the big graph of skin is still there and she's hiding in the bottom of the hospital.
Cassandra.
And she takes over Rose's body, and she's like, everything's bouncy. And she's like, oh, that is so tongue-in-cheek funny. I just love that episode. That was hilarious.
Yep.
Moisturize me.
Moisturize me.
Come on, everybody, moisturize me.
I think that was Tennant's first episode. Or first full.
G.I. Joe.
Just throwing a little props to John Royal, who does these variant covers. He makes them look very 80s. I think this is the last one that I've picked up where I got it. There was one on eBay. I missed out somehow. No, I got it. I think I have all the John Royal covers.
So I got to answer this one. Best way to contact me in Vegas would be on Twitter because I'm at FR Miller. So
Screaming Repent
I'm going to be
work?
What?
Screaming Repent doesn't work. That doesn't draw your attention.
Good heavens. No, there's probably a lot more crazies than I in Vegas, but
There's going to be you're going to be out there preaching. We won't make it to the casino.
yeah,
Everybody's out there
I'm
leaving
not
safe.
going to be doing that. But no, I don't know. I got Gary on the.
I want to get a video of Father Miller in front of like the guys handing out the cards.
Yes. Have you heard the good news? Have you heard the good news?
No,
It's not too late. Repent.
So,
Do you know what you need to do, Father? You need to get standing in front of a wee fire with the holy water and just say, Ryan, I told you so.
Yeah.
Well,
Post that in
I sent Quarter Black Garrett a text, or not a text message, but a super chat telling him it was my desire to do that. Because Gary was on with him the other night.
The whole
I'm melting.
the whole
I'm
robe
melting.
but get one of those little smoke machines so when you walk around your whole outfit you're just smoking.
Oh no! I got a better one. You sprinkle water on people. Say the power of Christ compels you.
No,
exercise the whole city.
Yep.
No, that stuff I don't kid about.
Okay.
No, he
Because that
doesn't.
stuff
He
is
doesn't
real.
get about exorcism. Yeah,
That stuff is
Okay.
real.
All right. Sorry.
yeah. He
Sorry,
does. The father doesn't kid about that one.
Forgive me. Forgive this Jew
No, I
forgive this
really, like
Jew
I
on
said,
Erev Shabbos.
I'm looking forward to the fandom get together. I'm probably going to try to get there early. Again, it's just I don't know how crazy this is going to be.
Do they
It
got
will
any kind
be-
of estimate? Or they've had responses where
No,
people
there's
have
been
said
no
they'll be there?
estimate.
It
No,
will.
they-
It will be as crazy as it. it
How
will be
many
crazy.
how many Naruto runners will be there?
The what?
When they did the Area 51 thing, I laughed out of my chair because it was like a map of what was going to happen in Area 51, and one of the groups that was coming in was the Naruto runners. I was like, that was the greatest thing. I thought was so funny. So I was like, everywhere I go, I was like, how many Naruto runners will be at this event? Just people running around with their arms behind their back.
I don't know. I want to figure out what costume I'm. I think I'm gonna rig up something. I have a whole bunch of electroluminescent wire from something I was experimenting with. So
Create a beard.
In
Gary.
in the spirit of Suicide Squad, I want to get a Stario mask and just have that be my cosplay. Dress normally, but just have the star on my face, walk around like a drone. I think that'd be the best and cheapest cosplay. If they don't just make that a product you can buy, it's missed marketing right there.
Well, I've got my Judge Dredd helmet. I'm okay. I'm sorted.
There you go.
Do not.
I did see a full size Dalek one day.
Do not come.
Do not.
Do not come.
Don't read them.
Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
So, well,
God,
should we wrap up then?
I wish I had I want a full size Dalek. That is also on my bucket list. But
well,
it was fantastic.
See those books
I
I see when the books I bought this week. The girl I was talking to, it was her ex who had all them, and they decided to sell them all because she still had them all in hers. And he was a designer, and he built 4 for other people, full size Daleks.
That's
and
awesome.
I asked if he still had one for himself. He was selling, and she said no, unfortunately. I want a full size Dalek for it in my room. I don't care if I would have to sit out in the hall. The full size Dalek's got pride of place.
You know, those shows hit me with the Dalek in that first season because I didn't follow Doctor Who and I didn't have the attachment that you guys do by growing up with it. So when those episodes, that creeped me out. Constantly screaming. I mean, it was like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah.
For someone who's never been like, I remember being like, fall asleep in front of the TV on a random night and wake up to, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat, and then I'd go back to sleep. But yeah, it was compelling. I really enjoyed the story. And Eccleston, when he first sees the Dalek in season 1, and you can see the panic and the horror on his face. I mean, he really sells that. I was like, this is good.
Yeah. I mean, and that was a real treat for classic growing up with them fans.
Because that was the first time they brought it back in the new seasons, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep.
See, I'm trying to find one video before. Oh,
I gotta get on the road. I gotta drive 30 minutes away to get my favorite pizza because nothing else will satisfy me. Wow. Godfather's Pizza is the best pizza.
Oh wait, you still have Godfathers there?
We got one.
We don't have any more. We don't have any more in Arizona. So.
Oh. You know, I have my
Happy Joe died.
He had the opportunity to buy all the franchise rights for the state of Iowa when he was young. He didn't have money.
There's a good Chicago style pizzeria that's just next neighborhood.
Is that the super thick casserole size pizza? No.
Yes. No. There is no decent pizzerias around here.
Nah. Hey, oh, don't worry. There's a Bronx pizzeria that's closer, okay?
Hey, if I can't get I don't want it. Hey,
okay, Justin may remember this guy.
This guy. Oh my God! Is this the
really familiar?
A random polling of Red Dwarf fans revealed that tonight's program, The Evil
But did they have him in Illinois too?
is many folks' favorite.
That's Red Dwarf.
That's really laggy.
And they may be adjusted. It is a classic, and you can even see it again tomorrow night when Iowa Public Television returns. The Saturday night replays of Red.
Anyway, that was the guy that usually introduced.
Yeah, that's Red. Yeah, that's doing that's doing Red Dwarf. That's the Red Dwarf theme tune in the background.
Well, so but he also did the introduction for Doctor Who.
But what? Yeah, because in Chicago we had a guy named Marty Robinson, and I suggest you look him up. He's just like a classic TV guy, and just had this voice, and wow. Here
we go.
Mike Frisbee.
Iowa Public Television.
Iowa Public Television.
For Iowa's future.
I grew up with 4 channels, by the way.
or 3.
Next week, we really get shipwrecked and comatose on Whack World, where Hitler, Caligula, and the Boston Strangler lead an army of darkness against Elvis, Gandhi, Santa Claus, and Stan Laurel. Don't
Elvis,
miss it.
Gandhi, and Santa Claus.
Dan Laurel.
Useless part 2 of The War Game.
That's a good episode.
Now, the Doctor will be forced to confront more than mere adversaries. He'll also contend with his own
Anyway.
past.
You gotta get you a
So
better
that was
caption.
good.
War Games is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Did he actually mention Stan Laurel there?
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
it.
As he had, but well, there you go. A fun fact about Stan Laurel: he did his first theatre in Scotland, in Glasgow. So he did. Basically, his father was a theatre manager, and Stan Laurel went to another theatre just along the road because his dad wouldn't let him do it, and he did his first theatre show in the Panopticon in Glasgow. I've been in there. That's where they do the Laurel and Hardy shows once every 3 months, and I love it there. It's classic.
Gentlemen, I have to dip. I had a great time talking with you tonight, and we'll definitely. I'll be on tomorrow, Chris, with you at 10 a.m.
Okay. Yeah, 10. We're going to be,
Hey,
well, it's
Jeff?
9 o'clock our time.
All
Hey,
right.
Justin, do you have a Twitter or anything?
I have very little because I'm just starting this. You can find me on Instagram at Quad City Comics.
Okay.
I don't post a lot there, but if you want to message me, you can message me there. I'll find it. I'm poking around there on that. Quad City Comics, just like it's.
Okay.
I think we're just going to wrap up so that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
I'm
can
gonna
all
go
get
15
to
minutes
live.
max. I'm gonna say a solid 15 minutes late.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Well,
that's why
over.
I don't actually make books. So,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, have a good night. We'll see you next time.
all right.
see you.
Okay.
See you next time. Bye.
So, well, thank you guys for joining me. Again, thank you for everybody watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I'll keep you guys updated on next week, and we'll go from there. So,
Okay.
Check out
I'm
check
hitting
out,
the end button.
check
Or
out
what?
Marty. Check out Marty Robinson, Doctor Who. I mean,
Okay.
it's not
Just like
as
the singer
yeah.
name.
It's not as flashy, but the voice is just. Mwah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Definitely.
So here we go with